On YouTube. My name is Tanner Howes. The channel name here is What is Truth, and on this truth, we get into the Word of God. It's gonna be a live stream. We're gonna get into the Bible. First thing I do is memorize and quote scripture. Do me a favor though, if you're new to this channel, you never seen my face before. Do me a favor, don't just leave. It's a natural thing to do is just leave. We're going for instant gratification, but do me a favor, click forward a couple times. At least click forward a couple times. There might be something here for you. Okay. Um, you just give me 1 second. I'm gonna edit my Facebook video. That takes me a minute or less. Save. Boom. Should be good then. We should be good. Okay, so been having people ask me about, possibly doing panels and want to do a certain people. Hopefully, a couple of y'all got the Discord. If anybody does not know, we have Discord, and so I'm just going to start putting it out there a little bit more, right? No, I don't feel like anybody's really safe on YouTube. Okay, if you're coming out with Bible, you're coming out with truth. Okay, people come on here and ask you certain questions. Me, I'm gonna answer truthfully as much as I can. You know what I mean? As much as I possibly can, I'm gonna answer truthfully. Okay, and in that, people think you hate them. Okay, just so if anybody's, someone showed up here, but different format. I'm trying widescreen today, just in case we end up with a Discord panel. I edited. I spent some time trying to edit a Discord channel. That way, no, that way I feel a little bit more secure in it. Okay. That's so funny when I get the notification up there that I'm live. I'm just playing around with this here real quick. So if I decide I need to screen share it all today, it's gonna be wide view. I'm not, the problem here is I'm not in the view of vertical feed. I like being in the vertical feed, but it don't seem like it's always puts me in the vertical feed anyway. So we'll see what happens. You never know. Maybe YouTube and or Facebook will promote me just even as much or more because of this. All right, give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull up my YouTube. I'm gonna go ahead and smash that like button myself. Okay. If we don't have 2 likes this with this stream, we'll at least have one. Okay. Now I gotta figure out how to do the smash the like button because it's different. So, but the bad thing, like I say, bad thing is we're not in the vertical feed. I like being in the vertical feed, but whatever. It is what it is. Okay. Got my camera working today. Hopefully it stays working. All right. Today's 101. 101. I'll sing about mercy and justice. Oh Lord, I'll make music to praise you. I want to understand the path's integrity. When will you come to me? I will live in my own home with integrity. I'll not put anything wicked in front of my eyes. I hate what unfaithful people do. I want no part of it. I'll keep far away from devious minds. I have nothing to do with evil. I'll destroy anyone who's secretly slanders his neighbor. I will not tolerate anyone with a concealed look or arrogant heart. My eyes will be watching the faithful people in the land that they may live with me. The person who lives with integrity will serve me. One who does deceitful things will not stay in my home. One who tells lies will not remain in my presence. Every morning I will destroy all the wicked people in the land to rid the Lord's city of troublemakers. Amen. To rid the Lord's city of troublemakers. So, what's up, David? Hey, let me know. Let me know at all if you want to try to. 'Cause I know I still can't figure out how you be blocked from Discord. But if I do it right, at any point in time, all we could do if you ever want to join the stream and I'm on the computer, I think what I could do is we could do the Discord call. The thing of it is though, we'd have to do it on my other Discord. Okay, so I have 2 Discords. Okay, so when you call me on one of them, just so we're clear. Okay, one of them, you're going to be calling me on this. That won't work for me. But I have another Discord that I'll be logged into that I could possibly call you from. Right? And I didn't think about that. I never thought about that. And that we could do video, we could do just voice chat, whatever. So Keep that in mind. If you ever want to call in, if you can't join the voice, but so we're clear. I just spent time editing one of the Discord servers. Okay, the talk servers. Okay, because what I want a Discord server where people can't just do whatever they want to do. Um, so said flagged by the elites. Okay, yeah, I mean that definitely could be the case. I will not put anything wicked in front of my eyes. I hate what people do. I want no part of it. I keep far away from deepest minds. Will have nothing to do with evil. My eyes will watch. My eyes will be watching be watching the faithful people in the land that they may live with me. The person who lives in integrity will serve me. The one who does deceitful things will not stay in my home. The one who tells lies will not remain in my presence. Everyone will destroy all the wicked people in the land to rid the Lord's city of troublemakers. I did finish that. I started back in the middle. Okay. I was singing about mercy and justice. Oh Lord, I will make music to praise you. I want to understand the path to integrity. When you come to me, I will live in my own home with integrity. I will not put anything wicked in front of my eyes. I hate what unfaithful people do. I want no part of it. I'll keep far away from devious minds. I'll have nothing to do with evil. My eyes will be watching the faithful people in the land that they may live with me. When that, oh man, I'm just messed up. Gotcha. You're welcome. I did the same thing yesterday too. I spoke it once and I think I did it right and I spoke it again and it's like went blank. I'll come back coming back to that. So that's Psalm 101. I got it memorized. Let's go do 101 in the King James here. Psalm 101. I really dig this psalm. I mean, it's just like I think it's Psalm of David, and he's just like showing obedience, right? Sheer obedience to God. But not only that, like making declarations, I believe, of what he'll do as king. Right? Every morning I will destroy all the wicked people to rid the Lord's city of troublemakers. Like he made a vow that he would get up first thing in the morning. But it's still cool. And you bring the wicked before him, you're gonna then he's gonna judge it and he's gonna do it, right? The Lord is near the brokenhearted and saves one who's crushed in spirit. The Lord is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart, and saveth such as be of a broken spirit. I'll sing of mercy and judgment. I will sing of mercy and judgment. O Lord, I'll sing. O Lord, I will sing. I will behave myself wisely in a perfect ways. In perfect way. Oh, when wilt thou come unto me? I will walk within my house within a perfect heart. I will set no wicked thing before mine eyes. I hate the work of them that turn aside, and it shall not cleave to me. A forward heart shall depart from me, and I will not know a wicked person. Whoso privily slandereth his neighbor, him will I cut off. Him that hath an high look and a proud heart will not I suffer. Mine eyes shall be upon the faithful of the land, that they may dwell with me. He that walketh in a perfect way, he shall serve me. He that worketh deceit shall not dwell within my house. He that telleth lies shall not tarry in my sight. I will early destroy all the wicked of the land, that I may cut off the wicked doers from the city of the Lord. What's up, Seth? Good day, brother. I saw your message. I just had gotten it just a minute ago. I was looking at you. You pretty interesting in it though. It's like we know what that means, right? We know what that means, but can we believe it? Can we actually take that serious? You know what I mean? It's like Can we take the beginning of the Bible seriously? That's the question. Literally. I think we can. He that word deceit shall not dwell in my house. He that telleth lies shall not tarry in my sight. I will early destroy all the wicked in the land, that I may cut off all wicked doers from the city of the Lord. Need a drink. Kind of struggling to talk here, guys. It's slightly struggling to talk. Just curious here, boom. Just checking out some of these different patterns here. Okay, okay. Psalm 91. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He's my refuge and my fortress, my God, in Him I will trust. Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the air that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet, because he has set his love upon me. Therefore I will deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. What's up? Why not? Amen. For the word of God is alive and powerful, is sharper than the sharpest two-edged sword, cutting between soul and spirit, between joint and marrow. It exposes our innermost thoughts and desires. Nothing in all creation is hidden from God. Everything is naked and exposed before his eyes, and he's the one to whom we are accountable. So then, since we have a great high priest who has entered heaven, Jesus, the Son of God, let us hold firmly to what we believe. This high priest of ours understands our weaknesses, for he faced all the same testings we do, yet he did not sin. So let us come boldly to the throne of our gracious God, there receive his mercy, and we will find grace to help us when we need it most. Okay, so I was just looking at my thing, see what I can do on this thing or not. Okay, all right. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High, channel name is what is truth. What's up, FS? He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say to the Lord, He's my refuge and my strength. Yeah, he's my refuge and my fortress, my God, in him I'll trust. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the air that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. They shall tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet, because he has set his love upon me. Therefore I will deliver him, I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble, I will deliver him and honor him. With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. He said, "You talking to me?" No, I'm not tipsy. I'm not tipsy at all. I'm having trouble talking though. My nose is starting to get a little clogged up here. Okay, you're driving home from the laundromat. Okay, just make sure you do plenty of texting and driving on the curves and stuff. Right, this is good advice. Make sure you're paying attention to what you're typing while you're going around the curves. So yeah, why not? So there's a couple places I've been to in Missouri though. So I spent a little bit of time. I'm trying to think but Bloomsdale, right? So it's Bloomsdale. I think it's like 55 or 50. Let me think here. 55 or something, 59. It goes south from St. Louis. It's right off that Y Highway. There's a spot called Goose Creek Reservoir. It's a private. What's up, Rachel? Massive heart attack. Yeah, it's a Widowmaker. That's amazing. He's still in pain. He passed for 2 minutes, and they worked on him. All right, I'm sad for you. I mean, like my heart goes out to you. I'm okay. So you guys probably can't see it, but we have a testimony from a lady on Facebook that shows up on Facebook once in a while. Her husband's in the hospital right now, had a massive heart attack. He flatlined for 2 minutes. I'm not sure his name. Her name's Rachel though. So if anybody wants to hold him in his prayer, um, I mean I'm just asking I'm just asking the Lord God that he keeps him through this and gives him a recovery and keeps Rachel strong. He's gonna need her to be strong in the name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you for giving testimony. Yeah, I'm live. I'm live. Huh. I wonder. Well, I wonder if So film. I wonder if Buster wants to jump in Discord with me and talk about what happened. Because ever since you told me about that, I can't. It bugs me. It really bugs me. So it bugs me because I've worried about that same stuff on my own channel. You know what I mean? I've worried about that stuff on my same stuff on my own channel, and that's why I try not to just let people come on unless I at least want to see you in chat before. You know what I mean? I want to know that you're not a troll. At least with my best judgment, I want to know you're not a troll. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna message him real quick. And figure out how to message him. So yeah, I just you can let him know too, but I just did message him. So okay, all right. Did I make it through it again? He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I'll say the Lord, He's my refuge and my fortress, my God, in Him I will trust. Surely He shall deliver thee from the from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt thou trust. His trust shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet. Because he has set his love upon me, therefore I will deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him. In trouble, I will deliver him and honor him. With a long life, I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. Okay? I didn't say the Most High was the son of Mary. Okay. Okay? What's up? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Ah, man, I can't. Sorry, guys. One sec. I'm trying to figure out this server here. I can't figure out how to really work it on the computer. How does it? How does it scroll? There we go. Hold on. All right, hold on. Okay, so okay, mystery joined the party. Hey, what's up, mystery? So, hey, just so everybody knows. Look, real quick. Um, so I might slide into Discord here in just a second. Um, but look, at this point in time, if anybody wants to like stay in the loop, join me in Discord. Okay, and here's the reason why. Okay, again, I don't. YouTube could shut me down at any point in time, right? And I've been, for a long time, I was like kind of like real worried about it. At this point in time, though, I offend a lot of people, and it's not that I'm like trying to offend anybody, but I offend a lot of people. You know what I mean? People, I offend people, and so you never know. Real quick, I'm going to go ahead and join in. Am I in it? All right, right there. I think I'm in it. All right. Okay, so I think okay, so I'm mute. All right, so I'm in the Discord right now. If anybody wants to jump in, point in time. It's one reason why I went widescreen. So hopefully Sambo shows up tonight. Um I was hoping Sambo could get in the Discord. All right. All right. So I'm gonna think here. I keep forgetting what I'm doing here. I'm forgetting what I'm doing. So Psalm, not Psalm. I did Psalm 101. King James. We did 101. God's Word. 91. At least twice. At least twice. I'll t- I might come back and do what's called again. I might do it what's called again. No. All right. Second Corinthians or First Corinthians. First Corinthians. Corinthians. I do like having this tab. I used to not like tabs. No, I used to not like tabs. No way, shape, or form. Now I have so much trouble with my thumb. I enjoy the tab. And I, brother, when I came to you, came now with excellency of speech or of wisdom, declaring unto you the testimony of God. For I determined not to know anything among you, save Jesus Christ and Him crucified. And I was with you in weakness and in fear and in much trembling. And my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom, but in demonstration of the Spirit and the power, that your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of God. Howbeit we speak wisdom among them that are perfect, yet not the wisdom of this world, nor the princes of this world that came to not. But we speak the wisdom of God in a mystery, even the hidden wisdom which God ordained before the world unto our glory. On which God ordained before the world unto our glory. And I said it right, but once I said it, just I had to check a different translation to try to wrap my head around that. Unto our glory, which God ordained. But we speak the wisdom of God in a mystery, even the hidden wisdom, which God ordained before the world unto our glory, which none of the princes of this world knew, for had they known it, they would not have crucified the Lord of glory. But as it is written, I hath not seen nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit, for the Spirit searcheth all things, yea, the deep things of God. For what man knoweth the things of a man, save the spirit of man which is in him? Even so, the things of God know no man. Hold on. Oh, 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 my bad, my bad. All right, hold on. Discord. All right, hold on. All right, Discord. You there, Buster? You there? Hopefully, I ain't got you. Hopefully, you're able to. Hopefully, you don't need me to unmute you. 'Cause again, I was just going through and share screen, and I didn't know. I wasn't realizing that you was already in. I mean, I should have known you was in your Discord right now. Um, Live, maybe. Okay, right there. Boom. Let me see here. There, maybe you there? Options. Make sure you there.
Hey, yeah, man. Sorry, switching phones. How's it
Yeah. Sorry, I went like thinking. I want to put two and two together. You'd be in your Discord right now. I wasn't trying to drag you away from it by no means. So
going? No, dude. It's good. It's they're talking. We're talking about reptiles and NASA.
okay. Well, that might be fun. I might just bring it. I might bring my live stream over there. You know what I mean? In a minute. So I want to hear about NASA.
Yeah, you'd like the convers. You'd like the conversation.
Okay. Yeah, so a film station, if you're in here, so you can jump in here if you want, man. So film station said, so I've been starting to, I was starting to kind of catch some of your streams. I hadn't yet. I found a good time to jump in them. Uh, this one day you invited me and I just laid down. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning or something. Like, man, no, I'm about to fall asleep. But I listened to you till I fell asleep. I woke up, and if I'm thinking right, if I woke up, you're still going. Um, and then a couple times
So we did.
yeah.
We did. In 4 days, we were on live for like all but 12 or 15 hours total.
Yeah,
So it was like a 4 day stream.
yeah. So I noticed that, and because I even was trying to tell you, like if you want your streams on YouTube to actually stick around, you need to shut it down before 12 hours. If you didn't know that,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I just happened to luck out. And like but then I learned about it. And so I was stopping them and restarting them
okay,
after like 11 hours.
yeah. So one when I saw it looked like you was in there by yourself, so I jumped in, and like right when I jumped in, I was trying to talk to you, and like you jumped out and the live stream ended. So I think it was like I jumped in as you was trying to already end it anyway. You know what I mean? So the one time I did jump
Uh,
in,
so
but it
so what happened
no, I mean,
was that
okay, go ahead. Yeah,
I fell asleep. I fell asleep when the other guys were in it because I had been up for like a day or two or something.
yeah.
And so they kept going and then they shut like everybody else left because I guess the conversation died or they had to go or something. And so
Oh,
I was still in there, but I was asleep. And my Wi-Fi had restarted or something. And if I'm not like actively checking it, if it restarts, I have to like boot the stream back up.
oh,
Um, but I was sleeping there and I thought I heard your voice. And I was just like, because my phone was next to my bed, just like on speaker.
okay.
And I didn't know, I thought it was like a dream, and I'm sitting there like right as I went to like see what was going on and join in, I saw you leave and I was like, oh shit,
Okay,
Tanner's here. But you were saying nice stuff in my dream at least.
okay.
And
I was saying nice stuff in your
but
dream.
I got so I really appreciate it, but I got banned from Google.
Okay. Yeah,
So
yeah. So,
with
so so I've been thinking about this a lot. You know what I mean? And I've realized there's been an issue since I started. Okay, because like, so when I do the live stream, like it'll tell me, send it out to one person at a time. You know what I mean? And uh, just send it out to one person at a time. But I drop the link for everybody. Um, but so one thing I started telling people, is I want to see you in chat first. You know what I mean? It don't necessarily take a lot, necessarily, but like I just want to know if someone's not a troll, before they come on. You know what I mean? You don't have to necessarily be a believer. You know what I mean? You don't necessarily, even if you're believing in something, you don't have to necessarily be a believer in the Bible or whatever, just not a troll. You know what I mean? Now, I did have a troll come on months ago, like many, many months ago when I first started doing this, and he did something like that to me, but it wasn't nothing to get me shut down over. You know what I mean? So,
right.
so,
Yeah.
so
Well, I
yeah,
think I think one thing that's kind of safe about what you're doing is you're not actively attacking atheism,
okay,
right?
yeah,
Whereas like I was actively engaging with atheism.
okay,
And so what happened was I don't know if you've had this yet, but other people coming on and sharing their streams, like so atheist debate channels started joining to debate me, and I was like crushing them,
Okay.
right? And um, so a when they do that, I realized right after that first time, I was like, it was the second to last time I streamed. That's we ended the stream because I like crushed all these atheists, and then they took over the show, and in reality, they were just stealing my content and stuff. And then
Yeah.
uh, it won't let me turn on the video,
Uh,
but they were just stealing my content and stuff. Um, because it says I don't have permissions for video
yeah,
if you
yeah.
wanted to do that. But
If I can figure out how to do it, I'll give it to you though. So I was just going through and trying to figure out how to edit these things right before I started the stream, right? So
no, you're all good. Are you live right now?
yeah, I'm on live stream now.
Oh, what up, everybody?
Yeah. So everybody, if
Um,
anybody don't know, this is Buster Cheeks. I used to regularly show up and join in and whatnot. So
yeah, guys, I started. Tanner's awesome. Uh, and then it turned into like an atheist debate channel, basically.
yeah. I mean, I saw you
Uh,
constantly putting atheism's a cult. Prove me wrong, right?
yeah, I'm technically, some people aren't even, some people's emails and Google accounts got completely banned. So, I'm not going to say who,
Okay,
but it might be best if I don't show up. Um,
okay,
let me fix my.
uh one, I was being antagonistic towards the group. And what's funny is it was a joke at first. Like I wasn't I didn't even have an opinion on whether atheism was a cult or not. And as I must have argued dozens of atheists, and by now I'm convinced after actually going through every possible argument anybody could come up with, because at this point I'm just hearing the same arguments over and over again, right?
yeah.
So I know where they're going. And
Yeah.
now I'm absolutely convinced.
So I don't.
And I didn't mean to.
Yeah. So I'm convinced it's a religion. I mean, at least scientific atheism is basically a religion. So you want to call it a cult? Let's just. I mean, I'm not going to argue that either. You know what I mean? If you think it's a cult,
Yeah, well,
go ahead.
so the biggest cult, we don't even need to get into it, but my perspective is the biggest cult of all time required atheism as a core. It was the fundamental aspect to the whole biggest cult of all time, the most atrocities ever committed. And uh now then once you start working through all the possible definitions of a cult, what ends up happening is the way that they defend it, either nothing's a cult or everything's a cult. So that's why my definition of a cult works so much better, because we all agree there are cults and there aren't cults. But the ways they try to argue it with semantics and stuff leaves it to where nothing's a cult or everything's a cult. And it's like, yeah, you're basically losing the argument now because nobody's going to agree. That's stupid. The argument didn't even move forward, right?
Okay.
And what I noticed that's really interesting. This has happened dozens of times, and I've called it out. It happened last night. Um, I wasn't streaming, obviously, because I can't yet. We're working on some new stuff,
All right.
but I spoke for hours with this atheist, and by the end of it, they agreed. They were like, "Damn," because they were calling the LDS a cult. And
All right.
I was like, perfect. Let's call the LDS a cult. And they were like, well, what if somebody's part of the LDS, but they're not part of the LDS cult? And I would say, well, then that person's not a cult member. Like all atheists aren't cult members, but they still want to call LDS a cult, which is
Yeah.
exactly what I'm saying. And so they ended up saying, damn, okay. And I said, I just want to point out that every time, an hour into this debate, every single time, it's, well, what about religion? What about religion? Every time. Like, why would it? Oh, okay. Let's say all religions are cults.
Okay.
What does that have to do with whether atheism's a cult?
Okay.
Has nothing to do with it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I'll grant you, sure, all religions are cults. How does that help your argument? It doesn't. It's just like this.
Yeah. So yeah.
It's.
No, go ahead. Keep going. Want to hear? Want
I
to
was gonna
hear?
say it's just this like reflex that they have, and I was like, isn't it interesting? And on so on 3 occasions, One of them, it was four atheists,
Okay.
and I pointed them out. They did it in a row, in different wording, every single one of them.
Yeah.
And I said, I just went through here and pointed out each time y'all did that. So we know it's a consistent thing. And then on the next one, when all these atheist debate channels come, they all did the same thing. I said, look at that. Somehow you're attacking religion. This isn't even a religion argument. This has nothing to do with it. Right.
Yeah.
And but for some reason, they always end up there. And I'm not even religious, right? And they always assume they always assume that I'm like I don't know. They always, my position. They
No,
always
yeah,
assume I'm
okay.
religious.
So they think if you're wanting to debate them, showing them their cult, they think you're a part of some church or something.
Exactly.
Even
Exactly.
though you like some churches, even though you do like the Bible, you like ideas and concepts, and bettering yourself and all these different things. You're not like a full blown believer. You're not a member of a church by no means, right?
And I'm not. I'm cool with religion.
Yeah,
And I would say the worst religion is atheism, right?
yeah. No, I
And
would agree. I mean,
and but so then they go down this thing and they always end up arguing cults out of existence by saying everything's a cult or nothing's a cult, and they always end up attacking religion every single time.
okay.
It's so weird. But what they did is, and I would bet, just because you're so I would be careful, right? And if I was you, I'd probably be ready to shut down my YouTube stream at any moment.
Well, yes.
But
Okay. So this one. Okay. So I like this. I like to figure out how this could work because this restream has a 15 to 30-second buffer. Sometimes it's 15 seconds, sometimes it's 30, a full like 30 seconds. Now, I don't know. I never really tried to see if I could immediately delete a live stream. That one of the problems they have sometimes with the when you just go live off your phone, sometimes you can't even edit it, right away, or delete it right away. So I don't know how that works. Never really tried it. I might want to try it sometime. Just do a real quick live stream that don't,
you need to.
just do it for a few minutes and then in different ways, and see if I can immediately delete it. So okay, so if anybody don't understand what we're talking about, so again, Buster used to come frequently on here, and one of the first time he ever came on here was one of the first times I had an atheist on. He just popped in and started. Like, if I was to ever have an atheist debate, I'd want him on the panel. He's great at an atheist debate. So anyways, but he's came on numerous times, just me and him, and different things. So he's got a Discord. Um, so we've been back and forth. A lot of people from this community, as part of his community. Um, different things like that. But he recently started live streaming almost 24/7, willing to debate atheists and prove it's a cult. And he got trolled, and YouTube shut down. And that's what we're talking about here right now. So that's kind of
So
go ahead.
so what happened is well, first off, they started coming on and streaming music
Okay.
to try to get it like copyright strikes and stuff like
yeah.
that. And then the next time I streamed, after I argued with like these 3 channels or whatever that were basically just stealing my content, right? Like, so if I was you, I would check if somebody's coming on here, check their YouTube channel and see if they're live streaming. And if they
Okay.
are, don't let them on.
Okay.
Do not let them on, bro.
Okay.
Because they're just stealing your content, and all they're going to do is take people that disagree with you and hate what you're saying and try to destroy you. And so what happened was, and I'm an idiot, I should have seen this coming. I didn't build the ark, so to speak. But then a horde of them flooded in as soon as I started my next stream. And they have all these malware bots that they can attach to your Discord, and I didn't understand Discord well enough. Like, we spent the last 2 days trying to figure out how to lock down Discord.
All right.
Yeah. And
so Film Station said something about, what was that thing you told me about film, where they just randomly invite a bunch of people, and then I end up seeing that as the thing you can ask for help on if you just have a whole bunch of people you don't know how they ended up there. I don't remember what Film Station called it, but a guy threatened to do that one day.
Like a nuke.
Yeah, nuke. He says he said he would nuke the channel, and he and Film
Yeah.
said basically what they do is just like these. So these people are in all these different discords and have all kinds of friends in all these different discords, and they would just invite everybody all at once and drop your link all these different places, you know what I mean, and just try to get people just flooding in that you can't even try to start weeding them out, you know. So
Oh yeah. It was so fast that it was, and they use AI bots. So what happens is they use these AI bots to find any possible exploit in your security on Discord.
okay,
And they were taking control of all the channels on Discord. They were changing the names of it, and they had these bots that put the worst stuff you could possibly imagine, like the most gruesome stuff you could think of, in all the possible indecent ways, and they forced it onto my live stream. So there was nothing I could do to stop it, right? Because A, I didn't know enough, and B, it was too fast. It's like literally inhumanly fast. And so since I wasn't able to shut down my stream fast enough, they were able to get it to where it was so bad, and they showed so many images that it deleted the whole channel, all the content, and my Google account. So I don't even have the same Google account anymore. So you have to have your Discord security on point. You have to have a system for your live streaming. You have to have a delay, and if you have anybody you don't know, you have to be able to shut. I would even say if you have people on here you don't know, somehow, and I've messed with this, but somehow you need to make it to where you can hear them and they can talk to you, but
Yeah,
the YouTube stream can't hear them.
I'm listening. I'm listening to you.
No, you're good. But yeah, you can, like, I'm thinking now you can have them on the live and they can join the room if they want, but they can't, their audio can't come through the live stream, because that's what they're doing. They're trying to play music. They're trying to show crazy stuff on video. They're doing all that stuff. But again, I think you're a little safer just because you're not like openly antagonizing them, which is that wasn't my original intent. That's just what it turned into after so many people joined. But it was good, man. We got a ton of subscribers. We got like 490 watch hours in the 4 days that we were streaming. So that's like 5 people every minute were actively watching. Lots of subscribers. And if I could go back, I would do it different just because I would know better. And I should have known better, but you know, you live and you learn. And now I'm kind of on a mission to actually battle this. They proved it was an atheist cult live on stream. Is a cult.
Yeah.
That's cult behavior. That's not a Catholic seeing that atheism is a cult video, hacking it, taking over the live stream, and posting gore and filth. You know, that's somebody who believes they don't even know if they exist, and they believe they're here for no reason, and there's no such thing as right and wrong. That's the people.
It was
doing
Nettie, right?
I don't know. I don't even want to say anything about who it was.
Oh, okay, my bad.
But it was definitely, I mean, it was cult-like behavior, and it wasn't people who don't think atheism is a cult.
Yeah, I heard his voice. I don't want to say who. I heard his voice, you know, the dude. But he sounded like, you know, one of them. He had like the 80s classic voice. He had like classic 80s voice. And I just knew he was going to do something, bro.
And they look up everything to ask Buster. They did rely on AI. And they don't believe in leadership. They don't believe in structure. And they don't believe in order.
I'm still here. I'm getting a coffee.
yeah. So yeah, thanks for regardless. You can hang out as long as you want. Thank you for coming on and talking about it, man. Like, yeah. So and like, and it would have been nice, I guess, if we would have got a chance to just have a little talking about what you had going on. So like, so I have seen, so like I've joined, well, I haven't like joined the panel, but um, I've been viewing this one channel a couple times. It's like a Christian Orthodox Catholic debate channel, right? And this guy, like, this the host, he don't really usually, it's when I've watched it, the host don't really do much, but like he'll pull up so many people, and then, like, you can ask to come up, and then he'll bring you up, and then he'll give you a chance to talk, and then if he has to, like, he'll mute each person as need be and whatnot. So like, I'm sure he's figuring that stuff out, but like I've kind of thought about, like, well, notice that it's just like, I don't know if he's trying to make, kind of make people prove, not let everybody use their not everybody use their video and whatnot. So yeah, I feel bad. I feel
Well,
bad about it, man. No, I do feel bad about it. So
it's all good.
yeah,
I felt bad about it for like 15 minutes,
okay,
and then I was like, it was kind of like getting handed a trophy because I was like, they proved it. They proved it.
yeah,
They got squashed over and over again, and
yeah.
then they did exactly what a cult would do,
All right. So
right?
yeah.
They,
So what would be neat though? What would be neat though? Like, and I mean, and it's like, if you, it means that you ain't got, there ain't no way you ain't got no access to none of that if you wasn't recording all that. But it'd be neat if you could go through and clip where you said an hour into it they was all doing the same thing, and then you could have compiled that into like a compilation, like defeated, 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 proven a cult, proven a cult, proven a cult. You know
That's
what I mean?
it.
That'd been neat.
well,
That would have been neat.
yeah. So what we're gonna probably try to do is figure out other, maybe create like a community YouTube that takes the other videos because we're gonna be streaming on like a free speech platform instead,
Okay.
hopefully, and or at least that's the plan.
Yeah.
And then take those compilations. What I'm gonna tell you though, bro, you need to take every video that you got right now on your channel, every one that's worth anything, take the top 100 viewed ones or something, download them and post them on a second YouTube channel that's private. If I would have done that, I would have had over 100 hours of content saved.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Something like that. Gotcha.
when they ban you, all of your content's gone forever.
All right. Yeah. So I've been kind of, and I've been worried about that. That's what I kind of want to say. Here today. Like, hey, if anybody ain't on the Discord, like this thing could just fall apart in a moment. You know what I mean? And if it does, you know what I mean? We if you like what we've got going on here, you find community here, regardless, even if we don't get a live stream, we can show up, we can do exactly what you see going on right now. You can show up and you can live chat with other people, you know what I mean? Different different topic, places. There's a place where you can just show up for fellowship and talk. There's places where we can get deep into doctrines and what is truth, right? Amen to that, Terry. We agree with that. Takes more faith to believe there is no God than there is one. So, and yeah, so what happens with, so like, okay, so what I've been dealing with, and I don't deal with it all the time, but it's when the algorithm kicks in, right? So when the algorithm kicks in for me is where it brings me in more atheists for one, but it'll bring me the LGBTQ plus crowd, right? Now with those two crowds, one thing that I found is, and this is where you end up getting the bigger streams, is because they have to chat. They have to, when they know that they come in and you're doing biblical live stream, they have to say something. You know what I mean? Even if like the YouTube chat algorithm holds it for review, like, even if they might be having, like, making sex remarks toward me, you know what I mean? They have to say something. Okay. And and so that always kicks in the algorithm. So me, I personally don't mind it a whole bunch, but it's just like the other day, it was just like, I've had people ask me like, what do you think about gay people, or what this and that? And it's like, okay, I got to be truthful about this. But then it's like, people hate me. Even the last time Cheesy came on, that came up, and I'm like, bro, like I understand, because he asked me what I thought. I'm like, well, me personally, I think it'd be better if it was still illegal to be openly homosexual in public. It'd be better if you couldn't have gay marriage and openly homosexual in public. That's the way it used to be, right? And if anybody don't agree with that, that's fine. I just if you ask me, that's my opinion, right? Younger people don't understand that's how it used to be, and I think he was like, all right, I'm never coming back, you know what I mean? But like I've just dealt with that, in the last few days a couple times, and it's just like, you know um they
We
hate
figured
that.
out we figured out that if you post the rainbow flag in
Okay.
your comments, they will show up. It's crazy.
Oh,
Like
really?
we did it multiple times throughout multiple days where we would post in the comments all these rainbow flags and stuff like that. And
All right.
sure enough, dude.
It's like they
Okay.
got
If
something.
you Yeah, like they got some, and if you post like there is no God or something like that in the comments, atheists will show up.
Okay.
It's weird.
Okay, so that might be true, but one thing I do know is, after you stream so many times and the algorithm really kicks it in, that's the two. Then there are the two crowds that are going to come in. That the algorithm will pull in. I do believe it's a spiritual thing, but the algorithm, the algorithm will pull them in. But with those two crowds, they won't just show up and leave. Okay, so you can have a non-believer show up and just swipe on by. Okay, you can have someone who believes in God show up. You're reading the Bible, they'll still just swipe on by. But if you're reading the Bible and an atheist shows up, no, they have to. There's something in them that compels them to drop a comment. If when the
Yeah.
LGBTQ plus shows up, there's a spirit in them that makes them. They cannot leave until they drop a comment, and it's usually something crazy. Okay, but what I found is that always boosts the algorithm. You know what I mean? So, but
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely. I would say like 80% of the comments were for people arguing what I'm saying. And I would say that probably something like 80. We only film, how many people do you think showed up that were Christian in all of the panels we did? Like 3 or 4?
Like 4,
And
bro. It
yeah,
was
and
let me see. That one dude, I forgot his name, but it was Michael, and then the other dude, Raven or something like that. And it was me, Raging, and then I did not say it, and it was like 15 more acres. I don't even know, dude.
well, we had 40 something people join the Discord before it got raided, and they were all on the panel. That's what they came for. So like 80%, probably more than 80%. We must have had 40 different people on the panel at different times, and most of them were atheists. There was like
Yeah,
3 or 4 Christians showed up, but all of it was atheists.
okay,
yeah,
Um
we crushed him though.
so I mean, like I said, my bad for not being prepared for it, and kind of being antagonistic. But yeah, they will stick around. If you're saying something remotely inflammatory, um, they're going to attack your belief system no matter what. But I always welcomed them on. If they come in and they start talking trash in the comments, I say, get up here. Let's talk. Let's let everybody see what you have to say. And what I noticed is, I got these shirts. We're gonna start selling shirts, but one of the shirts is I I have no conscience. I don't believe I exist. Um, what was the other one? It's so funny, but that's what they always go up to. Oh, nothing can be true, right? Because you start dealing with these ontological
I have
nihilists.
free will.
Yeah, they don't have free will. They never
I
have
have a
free will.
conscience.
They have morality's not real. They have no free
They're
will.
stupid, bro.
They don't know they exist. That's what
I
happened
know.
every single time because they try to argue their way out of it. And then
right,
they say, well, morality's not, there is no objective morality. There's only social constructs. And I say, so then if it's subjective morality, there's no such thing as morality. That means you don't think you have a conscience, which they obviously do, but they want to deny it, right? And then they say like, well, I can't know anything is true. This could all be fake. I can't prove nothing because they don't want, because I'll argue God's existence from a logical standpoint, and that's been proven for 2,500 years at least, was when it was written down. And so now they're arguing with the smartest guys of all time, right? Not me, but just the arguments I'm using. And
Yeah.
so they deny that. So now they're not rational. They abandon logic to make their point. And so now I'm talking with an irrational person. Or they're saying, there's no such thing as inherent purpose or value to life. It's like, so now I'm talking to somebody who doesn't value their life. They're irrational. They don't believe they have a purpose. They don't believe in morality. And it's like, good. If that's what you want to say to get out of the argument, perfect. Now I'm talking to nobody who has no beliefs and has no conscience and has no free will. I'm okay with that.
So I mean, that would be like a robot or a program or something, right? Or like,
Yet they don't believe they exist. They don't even believe they exist.
so I mean, is that like so? What do they? What would that be like? Like a simulation theory or something like that?
No, bro, it's beyond that.
I mean,
It's
okay, so I mean, like,
you're
yeah, I mean, it's like okay, so like I'm trying to hear you, and I'm trying to wrap my head around this, like you'll go smash your thumb in a car door and tell me you don't exist, right?
Yeah, go piss in an electric something, bro. I don't know.
Yeah, electric fence, right? Yeah, no, electric fence.
They're,
I mean, go fall.
they're retarded, dude.
well, okay, so here's just one example, but you can use it for everything. You can use it for existence, you can use it for anything. Let me go get the dog. The dog got out. Hold on. But the morality thing. If they go to subjective morality, what they're really saying at the end of the day is there's no such thing as right and wrong.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Take that stance. I'm now arguing morality with somebody who doesn't believe in right and wrong.
So basically,
I'm okay.
go murder somebody, right? Go get somebody deleted.
Clyde,
He said,
get
"What?"
in there.
Yeah, but we debated like a bunch of atheists. Dude, it was insane.
Yeah, no, I
It
mean,
was crazy.
I was noticing, like I say, I noticed it. I was noticing it was on constantly. I was noticing it was on constantly. So
Yeah. But I think it was 4 days that he got banned, and I don't know. I wasn't there whenever they they did all that book crap, whatever. But I was seeing that they were in there, and then I just came back in like 30 minutes, and then found out the Discord was locked and all that.
yeah,
And I was like, what happened? And Yankees coat struck.
huh?
Yeah, dude, it's
Yeah. So I guess if you ever want to do something more open, I guess where you give everybody permission to do whatever they want in there. If you have the room, if you had the memory, you could always just not go live, record it, then upload it. The thing about the live stream is it just makes it so much easier, and and YouTube will draw people in more in people in for a live stream normally. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, well, they might promote a a panel that was just uploaded, but more people are more likely to come in when they can live chat. You know what I mean? And stick around with something when they can live chat. You know what I mean? It's I mean, they'll do it with someone that they've already someone if some if people like, oh, this is my channel, this is who I watch, and they post something that was recorded off Zoom then uploaded, they're likely to still watch it anyway. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah,
One thing I noticed was that for the true like good faith actors, the atheists that were actually like interested in being open-minded and wanted to have cool chats and stuff, we would debate for maybe an hour or two. And then by the end, we became friends and we started talking about. I made friends with 90% of them, right?
okay, yeah,
And they still stick around and they're still in the Discord. And then we would just start talking about life. And what would people would catch the live stream and they'd be like, you're not even talking about the topic. This is clickbait. And I'm like, no, that's not the case. We actually have already had this discussion 100 times, and everybody that's currently in here has already come. We've already been through the argument. So if you want to talk about the topic, feel free to come in and start the argument again.
Yeah.
But good luck. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
So I remember the one time I dropped in and someone was talking. He's like, "Hey, what are we arguing again?" And I was like, yeah, we're not arguing nothing. We're just talking about this thing over here." I was like, "Okay." Well, it's kind of like, let me know when we're arguing something.
yeah, because really it started out, and my Discord isn't about group identity. Like that's the one thing that's not allowed, right? In my Discord is like no echo chamber. Everybody disagrees on everything, and we just want to talk respectfully to each other and explore ideas from different perspectives. And so the atheists that were actually interested in that, I ended up making friends with all of them, and we had a blast, and nobody was rude, and it was all great. Because because typically when you get into a debate like that on a lot of channels, it becomes insane. There's insults, and people are interrupting each other and yelling and all this
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
and that was strictly disallowed, right? And so if you're like open hearted towards anybody with their perspective, and you let them sit there and just talk it out, then eventually they'll trust you enough to have real conversations, right? But some of them, some of them have an agenda.
Huh. All right. Yeah. You ain't kidding. So, I do like, it's like now hearing all this now, I'm like looking back on seeing what I was seeing. It's like now it's just like okay. At some point in time, I wouldn't mind just. I mean, even if you're not going live streaming, I'll still maybe start coming and jumping in when I find time. But it's just like man, it's like that's. I mean, I kind of want to be a part of that now a little bit. You know what I mean? So
Oh,
I don't really
any
I don't really feel called to do atheist debate a whole lot. But yeah, you know. So,
well, it's not just that. Like that wasn't the point. The point was the same kind of conversations you have here at What Is Truth. Um,
yeah,
but less like you're specifically focused on the Bible, right? Whereas my channel, we talked about the Bible for 5 hours today. And you would be surprised, man. A lot of these atheists, you've mentioned this before, like how you feel about people who were formerly Catholic.
yeah.
Almost every one of these hardcore atheists have some past in Mormonism or the LDS
No,
or
I'm telling.
Catholicism
Yeah, yeah,
every time.
yeah. I mean, or
And
yeah. So there's
they're
either
scarred.
well, there's either sent to Catholic school or just had a real religious family that was like hardcore about it but didn't live it, and so and that's kind of where I'm at with it, right? I mean, because I believe I believe you can raise up children biblically, right? If you're actually following the Bible and doing what the Bible says and living it out with them, and not just doing it in a hypocritical manner, then you can do it in a good way and not scar them. But yeah, if you send them into a religion that's not actually following the Bible, one of these days they're like, wait a minute, this ain't matching up, and there's something wrong here. And most of the time, it's well, the Bible has to be wrong, right? Well, God can't be real. So, um, yeah, uh,
What I noticed with that, kind of like we were talking about, they typically are scarred by religion, right? And they're typically what ends up happening in the philosophy arguments, because I have a bunch of different philosophical arguments that are like, as far as I can tell, they're airtight, and they're not my arguments. They're the greatest arguments of all time, right?
yeah,
And so that's what I use them for. And then I'll put like a little twist on it that makes it my own or something like that because I think it's fun.
all right,
But at the end of it, they'll agree to everything except for naming it God. And where I'm lucky, and you kind of know my past and stuff, is I grew up in the church with pastors for uncles, grandfathers, all that. Totally grew up in the church. I never had a problem with God. I had a problem with religion because
yeah,
I'm like an anti-authoritarian, right?
okay,
And I hate institutions. And so I'm lucky in that I was able to come to the God conclusion on my own, not even looking for it. And I was like open-minded enough to know I didn't have an emotional bias against God, you know?
Yeah.
But I really disliked religion for 10 years.
Right.
And then once I became a little wiser, I was like, no. I totally think religion's a good thing overall. And I'm cool with that. So I don't have a problem with religion either, but these people have an emotional bias against God. So they'll sit there and they'll agree with every possible descriptor of God, but refuse to call it God.
Huh.
And like for me, when I first found God, I wasn't studying God or looking for God. I was trying to understand physics. And when I was messing with physics, at the end of the fundamental particle behavior rope, once you go all as deep as you can on fundamental particle behavior, you have scientists that hate God, and then you have deists, and they're describing the same thing and calling it two different things. And once I realized that that was the only conclusion, I said, well, wait a minute. That's just what people have been calling God forever. So I had no problem with it. I was like, oh, okay. I came to this conclusion on my own, not looking for God. And it just so happens people have been talking about this for 10,000 years, right? These people, these people that are hurt, and they're all hurt, bro. Every single one of them, because I end up having a conversation with them privately for hours and hours, and Film's been there for it, and everybody's been there for it. And they always talk about trauma from religion,
Yeah.
and they attribute it to God every time.
Okay. That makes sense.
And and that's why they can't. They'll accept everything. They'll say, okay, there is a prime mover, consciousness container, from all possibilities ever, that's eternal and is perfect, but that's not God. I'm
Yeah,
like,
they're
man,
naming all
shut.
the descriptions of God, but they're not calling it God. Like they don't want it to be God. It's an emotional bias.
Huh.
I call it denial through description. So
Yeah.
they describe God, but they deny the name. That's all they're doing.
Man, that's super stupid, bro. Like if I ever seen an atheist, dude, like get that away from me, dude. They're retarded. Dude. I don't know what's wrong with them. They have loose screws in their head.
Huh. Truth Lucy says this. Truth Lucy in her head. Okay. Yeah. So like, yeah. So and again, it's like, so when it comes to like for me, yeah, like so he's asking me like, yeah, my main thing is the Bible. You know what I mean? It's just what is the truth of the Bible. It's like not just what people think. It's what does the Bible actually say? Can we get down to the truth of that? How do we find that truth of that? Who's willing to go down in the truth with me? But then like when people come on, it's like whatever you want to talk about. You know what I mean? So in that case, like it's like we've had atheists show up, um, Muslims show up, a couple, one or two people from LDS. I don't think I've had any Jehovah Witness.
You ever had a Jew?
I cannot, and I'll tell you what I can't get to come on. I cannot get a preacher rapture guy to come on. Or I've had Michael come on a couple times. You know what I mean? He's a tough cookie. Um, but yeah, it's like I can't get nobody to come on about preacher rapture. So it's when people come on, it's like I'm down for whatever like like whatever we want to talk about, and whatnot. So, but yeah, like so, like I said though, like I never like I never like intended mine to be like primary atheist debates or primary Islam debate or this, that, or the other. You know what I mean? There's a few things I do feel called to debate. Um, so, but yeah, man.
You need to get your community, if your community really cares, and I'm not trying to put them on the spot,
Yeah.
but they need to download and share and repost your videos.
Okay.
That's the only way you're going to keep it going. Like I said, you're fairly safe just because you're not and I don't have I love what you do, and but every time I come on here, we end up talking about philosophy, like every time.
Yeah.
And like you're not antagonistic towards them, but if they see you getting traction and clowning on them at all,
Right.
they're going to attack you.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So yeah, download all your videos, start a second channel that has nothing to do with, that doesn't share your name, doesn't share anything. Give it one of those random usernames, right? Like user 1457XLB or something like that. Download all your good videos and upload them to those YouTubes and keep it all private.
All right.
Right. And change the name, change the title, give them random titles, whatever you got to do, and have all your people clip all your videos that are in your community. That way, because they can nuke your channel in 45 seconds, bro. That's what happened to me, like
Okay.
45 seconds. And if I would have known better, I would have done that. And I didn't have enough time to download the videos and stuff before they disappeared.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So yeah, well, hopefully you can get, as far as YouTube goes, hopefully you can get something else going, or let you have it back. But that's what I would do though. Like you said, but though, like that sounds like a viral video though. If you said 1 hour into it, they all resorted to the same thing, and it's like, oh, I won, oh, I won, oh, I won, oh, it is a call. You know what I mean? So like that would be cool if it showed like the time into it. You know what I mean? And like it was clipped into like a compilation of, you know, no, Dan's not Jehovah Witness. So real quick, he can post it. He put it in chat real quick. I think he had an aunt that did take him to a Kingdom Hall when he was younger, and the name Jehovah stuck with him. But he does King James is his Bible, therefore um he does go with the name of Jehovah, right? And just so we're clear, so to reject Trinity does not mean you have to be Jehovah Witness. It does not mean you have to be LDS either. You don't have to be part of any denomination or religion to reject Trinity as far as that goes. But yeah.
Oh, something you might be interested in, Tanner, is one of the guys, Joe,
Yeah.
and I'm sure he's seen your channel before just because of, maybe not, but this is the type of stuff he talks about. He's a high priest Mormon who became an atheist, and you would be surprised how open but he has a problem with religion and in turn God, because of his experience as a Mormon high priest. But he offered a lot of validity, because me, like I love the Bible, right?
Yeah.
And so he added a lot of validity to it, and you would be surprised how many of these atheists come on. We had a guy that's like an archaeology and historian atheist, right? And he's like, there's no way I'll ever believe in God. But now we've spoken to him for like maybe 24 hours total privately, and now he's looking for the logical proofs of God. He's like on the track to theism, basically. And because he's an open-minded fella. But even him as like a pretty hardcore I wouldn't say he's a cult member atheist, but he's definitely an atheist.
Yeah.
And he spent hours talking about the historical validity of the Bible.
So,
and he's like, this is
so
describing the fossil record with the flood and all that stuff. He was like, this is valid stuff.
So just between a little something you can look into or not look into, then you can drop it, and this is what I do, okay? But people that really know the Bible, that came out of religion, know. Okay, so if they have an issue with religion, so I preached on first century worship. You've heard me say that before.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So if you just know the couple places it's at in the Bible, Romans 12, Ephesians 4, 1 Corinthians 12 and 14, when it talks about you come together and if you ask somebody, hey, in the first century, where did they meet at? Oh, they met at homes. What did they do first? They ate a meal. Okay, cool. Did they pray? Yeah. Okay. Did they desire the greater gifts? Did they desire prophecy? Yeah, okay. Who got to, so in Ephesians 4, these are the gifts Christ gave the congregation: the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, and the shepherds and the teachers, right? And then you ask them, well, who out of those five, who gets to preach? You know what I mean? Who gets to preach? Right? So the fact of it is all of them can preach when the Spirit moves on them, whenever God opens it up. But in worship, they get they get a chance when the Spirit moves on them. You know what I mean? Who gets to prophesy? Two or three should prophesy. So when you just lay it out like this. Okay, now when you was in the Mormon Church as a high priest, did you function like this? You know what I mean? Or in any system, did you do? Is this how you did it? Okay, then maybe what he was doing was following the traditions of men, not the Bible. And then like why did Jesus say, "You forsake the law of God for the sake of your traditions," right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. That's where they get these scars from,
Yeah,
and they get wounded by these institutions. And I get it. Like my favorite debater for a decade was Christopher Hitchens, who's a hardcore atheist. But what's interesting about him compared to I also like debate guys. So I like philosophy and I like debate. And that's the stuff I like to do. But anyways, you take somebody like Richard Dawkins, who is a God hater, right?
yeah,
Um, and so his whole life work is to destroy the concept of God being necessary. Whereas Christopher Hitchens, he doesn't really care about God. He hates religion. It's a different thing, right? And so when he's arguing with people, he might touch on the God or something like that, or he'll say like God is not great or something along those lines, but he's not really attacking a God. He's attacking religions. And so I see where they're coming from, right? These guys that are scarred by religion, and I went through the same thing. Um, but they just misattribute it, right?
okay,
Instead of being biblical about it, they're being institutional about it.
huh? Say that last part
So
one.
I
Say that last one part one more time if you're
I,
able.
I was saying instead of being biblical,
Okay.
they're being institutional, and that's where the problem arises, which I think like speaks on what you just said.
Okay.
I think that's a pattern I've also noticed.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's funny, like so out of all the atheists I've had show up in the chat, well, when I asked like, hey, what church did you come out of, or did you grow up in a religious home? I recently had one that said, yeah, no, I didn't, none of that. You know what I mean? And they seemed like they was being truthful, and they didn't come out of Catholicism, they didn't come up in no religious fanatical home or nothing like that. And it's like, okay, you know what I mean? All right, so okay, so and that's funny because like majority, I mean, it's not funny, but again, the majority do. It seems like
You
so.
want to know something interesting that we noticed, and we were just talking about. We've got a bunch of people in the Discord. Not to pull them away from your Discord, but I would say everybody here that's viewing that cares about you needs to get in your Discord now, because if something happens to your
Yeah,
YouTube channel, your Discord is going to be the only way they can find you.
yeah,
Um,
and that's what.
so they definitely
Yeah, go ahead. So
they
everybody,
definitely need.
okay. Everybody in the chat, everybody watching out, right now, Buster's talking to you, letting you know just how fragile YouTube is. It's owned by Google, ran by Google, and they want to make money off us, but they don't care. But go ahead, Buster.
Oh, what I was going to say is what would happen in these debates, and these are long debates. Some of these debates were 8 hours long, right? And it was tons of atheists coming in and out and cycling through. And what would end up happening is that, and I'm not going to say I know a lot about AI, but I've spent more time, um, what would be the word? I wouldn't say hacking, but, or abusing, but like trying to manipulate, or there's another word for it, but messing with AI. I've spent more time messing with AI and how it's programmed and stuff than a lot of people have spent using it, right? And so what we noticed, and I know that AI can't think. It's not capable of logic. It's only like Google's AI is designed to tell you whatever the most people say. It recognizes speech patterns. It's a large language model. It can't think. And so what would end up happening is these guys would come on and their arguments are fragile anyways, so they would get destroyed in minutes. But then they would start typing out the argument and trying to use AI to solve it. So now they're not even thinking for themselves.
Huh.
Literally. They're literally not even and AI is not capable of having those arguments. So I'm crushing those too.
Yeah.
Not because I'm smart, but because it's like Chat GPT arguing with Plato or Aristotle or Thomas Aquinas or something, right? Like it's
Yeah.
not gonna work.
Well,
And
yeah. So that makes sense. Well, so I noticed a lot of people on here do the same thing. Not just everybody, but a lot of people go to Google and they're like, oh well, here's the answer proven. You know what I mean? It's not that I don't go to Google. I'll go to Google look up a lot of stuff, but it's just like I'm looking for facts or just some basic facts or details or where something's at, what the general consistency is. But that just because it says, this is what fact is, don't mean it's this is what the truth is. That don't mean it's true. You know what I mean? Um, you know,
oh,
it's like okay,
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, what makes an expert is that they don't have the consensus
yeah,
view.
yeah,
That's what
yeah.
makes them an expert.
So
And
you just what you just said on your stream right now, you're doing on your Discord, you're doing NASA, right? So if I went to Google and I said, "Hey Google, what years did we go to the moon?" And they'd be like, 1969 to 1972, we went there 8 times. Okay, so now I got the details. Okay, we supposedly went to the moon, you know, 6 times or 8 times since 1969 and to 1972, but that doesn't mean that we actually went. You know what I mean? So it's like,
well, yeah, we were just talking about that. And one thing is, I don't know if you can pull it up, but just look at the logo of NASA. This is just
yes,
one of the
it's a
interesting things we
serpent tongue.
noticed.
It's a serpent tongue, and it's
Yeah.
so
But look, look at it again, though.
yeah.
I'm gonna point out
Okay.
something
So
more.
there's
I'm gonna send it to you.
well, so real quick, so I could probably screen share, but there's a circle. It's a blue circle, and it says NASA inside in red, I think, with white lines, and it's got the serpent tongue coming in or out. Well, so it's a serpent tongue coming down. It looks like a rock going up. But so what it is, there's an inner circle though, and what that actually represents is a dome. With either break, they're trying to break the serpent came down. The rocket's trying to go back up through the dome, basically something like that. Does that make sense?
Hold on, I'm gonna hit you with the some of the funny images and stuff that we've been messing with.
Okay.
But we just went through the Hebrew words for every rocketry program. We went through hold on, I'm just downloading some stuff right now. We went through the 3 definitions of NASA, and in Hebrew
To
it's
deceive.
well, right, but there's 3.
Okay.
It's to uplift and like basically rocketry, right?
Oh, okay.
Is one of them. Here, I'll send it to you right now in the chat if I got the.
Okay. In the chat, got you.
Let me
Got
see.
you. Let me forgot. I'm st- I get in a habit of coming to getting in these things for a while, and then I don't, so I get out of habit of doing it. And now that I'm on my computer, it's like I don't even know how to.
Oh, we're making shirts, boy. We're making shirts.
He says we're making.
Um.
Well, we're here.
Yeah. Check out those images. Um. But it's great. And then we talking about the Werner von Braun on his
Headstone.
on,
It says Psalm
on his
19:1,
yeah.
which
The
means
firmament.
yeah.
And check this out. We were talking about. I'm not trying to get too much into
Go ahead.
conspiracy theories, but
Go ahead.
I'll go as long as you want, right?
Yeah.
On it. Oh, this is a shirt I made specifically because it's so ridiculous. These are the arguments they always end up on, and it's so funny. But one of them was okay. So my grandfather, I think I told you this before. He was a professor and a high school teacher as a career. He taught trigonometry in college as a professor for 25 years or something like that. And he used to have this scholarship. So back in the 80s, when he started this scholarship for high school kids, the first kid that he ever gave a scholarship to was the reason he got the scholarship was because he wanted to research reptilian genome projects, because reptiles don't have any they can't be afflicted by human disease, right?
Okay.
So this is a high schooler in the 80s, right? And then last week, me and Film were talking with this evolutionary microbiologist, an actual doctor, and this doctor was saying that the human animal gene splicing is already happening. And this is a guy who is like pure science, blah blah blah. He's a doctor of microbiology, and he works in the pharmaceutical industry. And he argues that evolution is the only way. And this guy straight up told me that that's not only possible, but it's already happening and it's guaranteed.
Right.
And so if you take that idea of
Mm.
this guy who's a doctor of microbiology who works in that sector saying that it's already happening, chimera is already happening.
Yeah.
And then you take the fact that my grandfather personally gave a high schooler in the 80s a scholarship. I'm not saying that this kid's responsible for it. I'm just saying that if a high schooler in the 80s knows about it, then the government's probably doing it if it's possible.
Well, wouldn't it be wild though if it actually was like your grandfather that actually led into this spiral? Okay, think about this though. So, okay, so I know you talked to Dre, so you've heard Dre. Dre goes into it a little bit deeper than I do about the Nephilim, the fallen angels, right?
Yeah. Hey, check out
Okay.
that chat too.
All right. So yeah. So real quick. So and then so when we look at like the Syrian, the Anunnaki, right? The Anunnaki was probably the giants or fallen angels of the past, right? So, but you know how okay, so like okay, you ever seen the Egyptian sun god Ra be depicted as a man with an eagle head?
Right.
And then
He's a chimera.
then you have the one thing where it's like a man on a horse, right? There was a good chance that either these was angels or they was already mixing man with animals already. I don't know which one, right?
Well, so chimera. So here's two interesting things that came up. One of them was actually inspired by a conversation with Dre about angels, and the atheist archaeologist guy that we had was actually very knowledgeable on the usage of angels throughout recorded history, right? From Babylon. Like this guy's doing history from 45,000 years ago type stuff. And we talked about chimeras, and so chimeras have two uses. The definitions are, one of them is like a mythological creature, but the other one is any human animal genome hybrid, which are real. Those are that's those human pig hybrid things that they're doing with science, that they've been doing for 40 years. That's a real true chimera, right? And then the other thing that we were talking about one day, the morality of surrogacy. And we wondered, and I actually asked this microbiologist doctor on stream, I asked him about it, and he said that when you and your wife use a surrogate, that baby actually has 3 different sets of DNA,
Okay.
not 2. Like that's like a homunculus by definition.
All right. So okay, so that would make so much more sense why like a woman's like she wants to do this loyal, noble thing, but once the baby comes out, she has an attachment to it. She can't help it.
It's unnatural, like by definition. Like science considers it progress, but they're actually creating chimeras and homunculuses
Yeah.
by definition.
Yeah. So yeah, so like I've never understood it like I mean, me is just me my natural way of thinking when I see, a man and a woman, the woman can't conceive. It's just like, and they find the woman that's gonna do it. It's like, well, why do all that trouble? Why not just let them? If you want, a man, you want to have a woman with this baby, in honor of the wife, let's let the man lay with her. That's just that's my opinion of it. You know what I mean? So I mean,
Yeah, I don't want my kid having a strange number of DNA strands in their body, me personally. You
okay,
know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, but yeah, this doctor of microbiology who works on immunizations, um, and I got in a big argument with him because he was saying that government mandated immunizations was a good thing, and I was like, look, I don't know enough about medicine to say that immunizations are no good. I'm personally not a fan of it. I would never force anybody to do it, but mandatory government intervention, which is like what you see in the Little Red Book, Leninist Marxist atheism, which is the biggest cult that ever existed. That was like they used that specific policy to end more lives than anything, all wars ever combined. They ended more lives like that than all wars combined in human history, and they did it in the last 100 years.
You talking about like abortion?
And sterilization, forced termination of
Yeah,
pregnancies,
okay.
actual annihilation of humans. Like the numbers, the numbers if in totality is 1,000,000,003,000,000. That's insane, bro.
Huh.
And that's what it's built on. It was built on mandatory government medical intervention. That was the idea. And the whole thing was they're telling people that it's a good thing. It's
Yeah.
for the greater good.
Okay. So yeah, so a couple things real quick. So I was at the gas station earlier, and just an hour or two ago, and I looked down and saw that they sold the Plan B pill there on the shelf for $25. And it was just the way the people. I was almost set up at a spot where it just like steal me. It was almost begging to be stolen. To be truthful about it, um, Plan B pills right there to be stolen. Another thing about the you talking about the sterilization and the all that different things. So like I know back in the day they used to have a lot of insane asylums, right? And that's where you get the name like imbecile and you know retard or you know all the names for you call people stupid was actual. They came up with labels of how to label people that could take care of themselves a little bit or none, or they could get out and mow the lawns and work a little bit. They could actually leave the institution, or they couldn't even bathe and dress themselves, right? And so it's just like I'm trying to think what's called eugenics, right? So eugenics seems to me like it started in America, in modern eugenics anyway. But then like by the time it definitely went to Germany at some point in time, and maybe I'm wrong with
Little
the year.
Pasadena.
What's that?
It was in Munich. They called it Little Pasadena,
Right.
referring to Pasadena, California.
Okay. So, but then it's just like when people talk about it, like when it's pushed out there, it's like, oh, look what Hitler was doing. He was trying to create a super race of people, and you know what I mean, and like and trying, like trying to do all this crazy stuff. And it's like, wait a minute, didn't he get that from America from some Jews?
Hey, you got to be real careful about TOS. Like you just said, like 10 words that you're not allowed to say. Just a heads up.
Okay.
Like the J word you can't say, the ABO word you can't say, the R word you can't say it. I'm not saying that you should be worried, but we went through a whole TOS violation thing on stream. And what was interesting is that you would be surprised how targeted towards you can say anything about Christ. You can do whatever you want. We were on stream proving that tech companies will allow you to put Jesus in a dress, riding a unicycle, or we had it to where it said the Bible is a lie. It would say anything like that. But if you mention any other book or any other group, it will not do it. It
Huh.
won't. And we did it live, and we were screen sharing it live. That was one of the experiments we did. So
Yeah.
it's interesting that everybody's protected except for Christianity. Um, but no, I totally agree with you. It did come from that group. And one of the other arguments is like those what are they called? Preventative medical procedures that they do to young boys.
Yeah.
That goes back to the same group, right? And I'm not even look, I'm not like saying profile anybody or that I support certain movements in Germany or anything like that. But what we realized when I'm arguing with these atheists about whether or not communism's good, um, is that the stats are like, if you look at the Holocaust stats, it's like it's 0.6% of the Leninist Marxist atheist movement. It's 0.6%. So we talk about World War II Germany, and it's only 0.6% of what China did. That doesn't even include Russia. So less than 1/100th.
Are you talking about people getting deleted or?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, and again, so like I try not to talk about it much because it's like it's weird because just just for me to want to admit it makes me feel like I'm not supposed to. Okay, so you know, here a while back I listened to, and don't get me wrong. So someone asked me a question: was it interpreted by AI? Right? And I'm well, probably, but still, I think it was a good interpretation. Right? So I listened to two or three speeches of Hitler, and I'm talking about going back like pre like early speeches. And I'm not saying I'm like a Hitler sympathizer or supporter or anything like that. But as I'm sitting here listening to these words, I'm like, man, I felt like if I didn't know, if I didn't know no better, I didn't know what I was listening to, and I would have thought I would have thought I was listening to someone talk about America today, the issues of
Right.
America today. You know what I mean? Other than when he was saying that, talking about European countries. But I mean, if you would have clipped out the parts where he was actually talking, mentioning the names of European countries, I would have thought he was talking about America today. Like we have these same issues going on. Like I mean, he was just talking about issues, and that was just it. And so then when you went to the comment section, when you went to the comment section, it was the same thing. Everybody's like, wait a minute, this is the same issues in America today. And then it's like, and then it was like, wait, these don't sound like the words of a madman. You know what I mean? And then so this has been over the last month or two, right? So I've been, I've kept this in my head for a couple months. And then everything that I've just happened to, like, say I'm watching something. So in the last couple months, been trying to figure out what's going on in the Middle East, like what's going on with Free Palestine, what's going on with Iran. I've been trying to get to the bottom of some of these things. And then every once in a while on some of these things, I'll see someone drop this thing of Hitler. Okay? And again, I'm not a Hitler sympathizer. I'm not a Hitler supporter. The dude might have been a madman. He might have been a madman. But my
The
point of it
painter.
is,
Yeah.
my point of it is though, when anybody drops him in there, it's like these are the words of a madman. Look, and they only show a small clip of him throwing his arms around, looking mad. It's never his words in English, and it's just like one fraction of an inch of what he said or did that you have no clue what he actually said. And they start off with the premises, he was a madman. Then, like you said, they don't talk about Stalin killing 40 some million people or whatever it was. They don't talk about, you know, it's like, and then so I like,
Mao.
okay, so it's like, people,
They need to look at Mao.
it's like, talk about people coming in here talking about nukes, like nukes, like, man, like, okay, first off, I'm not saying nukes are fake, but like, I'm not trying to buy into a fear
I am.
propaganda no more. Okay, I'm not trying to fear propaganda, and like I don't want anybody to be just afraid of nukes. I want you to go do your own research. And the only thing I can tell you to do is like I say, the only thing I tell anybody to do is search up the pictures of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the aftermath, and then go look up pictures of Tokyo firebombed. 'Cause we didn't drop a nuke on Tokyo. No, we firebombed Tokyo, and the pictures look the exact same. You know what I mean? And you talk about the street. You talking about some. I mean, I don't know when war crimes came about, but I mean, we devastated them people. You know what I mean? Like,
So I think to me, when I think about modern war crimes, like people considered Napoleon to have committed war crimes, and all the way back to the Gauls 2,000 years ago, stuff like that. But what I really think about is chemical warfare in World War One. That was when it was really insane. But I would say if people are trying to learn about this stuff, they need to look at the founding of the UN. They need to look at 1947 and the 12 years after that. They need to look up the founding of the central banks. That you know that the global central banking system,
yeah,
that same group basically invented the internet. Basically. And when I say the internet, I don't mean cyber technology and all that crap. I mean there was a group, there was a family who had information dispatch technology that was better than any military in the world. They were able to pass messages between central banks faster than Napoleon could get a message across his empire.
oh,
Faster than any time ever before in a made up language using multiple languages. So you need to look at that. You need to look at the founding of the UN and the first thing it ever did. You need to look up 1947. You need to look at the Treaty of Versailles. You need to look at all this stuff. And like I said, I'm not a sympathizer. I simply use the focus of World War II that we think about. I only use it in context to my argument for atheism being a cult, because the numbers are insane. It's not even close. It's less than 1%. It's unbelievable, and you don't hear about it.
huh? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, gotcha. Gotcha. Gotcha, man. Man. So yeah. So just I appreciate you stopping by. 'Cause I was just like curious if you wanted to talk about the story of what you had going on, and it's just like I'm sitting here like as I'm starting to stream, I'm like, well, I'm trying to let people know, like, hey, we could be shut down any day. So like if you like what we got going on here, join Discord. That way, you know what I mean? It's just like I mean, I enjoy doing the live streams, but if they go at this point in time, if they go away, I still want to fellowship with people. And I should be in the Discord more, you know what I mean? So, but you can stick around as long as you want, but you can jump back to your Discord whenever you do want to, though. Um,
Um, I'm cool to, feel free to scoop me out with a message if you want on
yeah,
the VC, and I'll make it look like you weren't. Um,
make it
but
like you weren't. No, I'm
no,
not
I
trying to push you
totally
off. I'm not trying to push you off because I
no
haven't
no no
talked to you in a while, and it's good stuff, man.
no. I was just trying to give you a an easy out, right?
Not, yeah,
Um,
I don't even want to
but
do that.
yeah,
I'm letting you know. I'm just letting you know if you want to get back to yours. I'm not trying to hold you up, though. Uh,
oh, no, 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 you're good. I
uh,
appreciate it, man. Ours goes, like if you really did get involved in the Discord, like I
yeah.
know, I mean, we've had a ton of chats in your Discord that were long,
Well,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Look, you guys almost had it going 24 hours a day, and I didn't even know what was going on. And you know what messed me
yeah,
up? You know what messed me up was because when I first started jumping into the voice chat, so there, so Ride of Justice made me a channel called um talk with Tanner, the one we're in now. Well, I didn't
yeah,
know it was hidden from everybody. So there was times I went and jumped in it, sat in it, no one ever showed up. It was hidden. I just made it unhidden. And how I figured out.
yeah,
So I was looking at the I noticed before I didn't see it on my other Discord. So I was in here trying to mess with the chats. I'm like, wait a minute. So before that, there was times where I went and sat in Discord. No one showed up. I guess I didn't invite nobody either. But yeah, I didn't know that no one could see it. You know what I mean? So I just adjusted that.
yeah. And if you were more active in it, first off, like the whole Discord thing is so complicated. Like I consider myself sort of tech savvy, but I'm not young enough to be be hip to all how
Yeah,
it
yes.
works, right?
So yeah, so what you want to do? My first guess is talk of right of justice. I mean,
Well, we spent a few hours right after I got kicked off of I got banned for life from Google. Um, so if I want to get back on if I want to really stream because I went through this whole thing researching it, and they'll literally triangulate you and find anything you do because they ban you as a person. So if I want to get back on, I have to basically change my digital identity. I got to get different IP address, different devices, everything, and not have them linked. So I'm working on that. I'm also gonna go over to Rumble, which is like YouTube that they monetize from day one, so you can instantly monetize, and it's a free speech platform, so they don't have AI and all that stuff tracking you down, and there's no real. I mean, there's still TOS violations, but it's like way less restrictive.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, if you get in your Discord, my Discord's smaller than your Discord. I think. I think we only got like 50 members or something like that, and we talked to Rat. Um, and Rat knows quite a bit. Rat's an awesome guy, everybody. Uh, he's helped me. He's helped me a lot, and he's a good friend. But even me and him and a few other guys were kind of scratching our head trying to figure out how it all really works, like really to make it impenetrable. So we had to download. We had to install security bots and all because they attack you with AI. That's what they're doing. So it's not even real people. It's like swarms of AI that chase you down, right? And
right.
but if you get in your Discord, then like my Discord, there's I think 5 or 6 people right now that have been in a chat room for the last 16 hours, constantly filtering in and out, and it's a small community.
Yeah,
So you guys can really get down to brass tacks and have conversations about all kinds of stuff forever. The only real difference between mine and yours, and I would suggest this only because I'm passionate about it. Like yours is more. Uh, I think that atheist cults and like I think that's a bigger fish to fry than some of the arguments that we have in yours. Not because I don't like yours. I totally love. I understand it. Right. The debates over interpretations of Christianity and stuff like that, that's cool, but I think that's what they want. If you're doing that, right? Like if you have a Catholic come in here and then you guys are discussing doctrine or something, atheists are totally cool with that. But as soon as the barrel gets turned against one of them, they're gonna hate it. And so I love interpret you know me, I love interpretations of the Bible and hearing what everybody has to say. Um, but it's almost like a psyop of sorts, right? When in reality, I think we all need to band together and kind of deal with the true evil of the biggest cult of all time that runs. They run technology. These tech companies don't want you doing this. If you were an atheist channel working as hard as you've been working,
yeah.
you'd have 1 billion subscribers by now.
Gotcha.
You know, Um, so yeah, I mean, dude, I would say definitely blast in your Discord. Everybody that's here watching your stuff, I know you got a ton of people who love what you do. Y'all need to get over there. You need to support Tanner. Um, if you shout me out there, I can, leave you breadcrumbs or whatever and invite you over to my Discord if you feel like it. We talk about a lot of the same stuff. Um, but Tanner's has a much more biblical focus, which I
Yeah,
also, that's why I love his channel.
yeah.
Um,
And so I
and
mean,
they need to.
so for me, this is one of the main things for me. Okay, so I truly believe that. So for me, okay, if if you're not a believer and you're being called, if there's anything I can help you do to get there, then let me help you. Okay, but for believers, because if you're not believing, I believe the Bible says that there is no eternal life for you anyway if you're going to reject Jesus. Okay, so that's just what the Bible says. So that's what I believe. But for believers, okay, it's so simple to be saved that all you have to do is believe. But once you start believing, one there has to be change. But then it comes a point in time where I do believe the Bible says that you can lose salvation over false worship. You can lose your salvation because you let yourself be deceived, right? You can lose your salvation because you didn't love the truth and so be saved at that point in time, right? And so that's like, I mean, that's so when it comes to, that's that in fellowship, you know what I mean?
Hey, dude, I get it. I think what you're doing is totally altruistic. I love it. I think it's a good thing. I'm not suggesting you're on the wrong battlefront.
Yeah.
I'm just pointing out the differences.
Yeah, no, I
I
get
think
you.
we're on the same side, right?
Yeah.
Um, and what's up, Cross? Haven't seen you in a while, buddy.
You're muted if you didn't know, which I'm sure you did know. So,
If you might have to give them
I
permissions
might,
by
I
right
might. So,
clicking.
okay, so I'm not sure. Let me see here.
So right click your channel, go to permissions, find cross, or at everyone, but I would suggest cross specific.
There he goes.
I'm just dropping in.
Okay.
I'm just eavesdropping.
You're just lurking.
I'm
You're
just
fine.
spying. Yeah.
You're fine.
I think you are live. Just a heads up, cross.
Yeah, we're on yeah, we are on live streaming here. So he did click the link and come on here a while back. He froze up though. He froze up, but he did come on and he had a nice beard. Everybody, I think we all enjoyed his beard. We got about that far. Um so but yeah, no, so man, yeah, I just
Can you hear this?
I'm just
What were you talking about?
so was originally talking about a little bit about what happened on his Discord and he had some streams going on and some Discord going on and got trolled real hard and
It got flooded. It got raided.
Yeah, we got nuked. And then the
Yeah.
bots were able to exploit security oversights in the Discord, and they were able to take over the live stream. And then they posted the worst pictures and stuff you could possibly imagine. It was horrid. My bad.
Okay.
That's my fault, though.
oh man,
Yeah. Well, they wouldn't bother if they weren't afraid, right?
yeah. So to be fair, so I only got trolled one time, but it was real mild. It was kind of actually funny, but when the guy came on, he had his he had the light off in his room to where his room was dark, and he did this on the camera, and he was showing a video, but it was just it was a video on a loop of a guy looked like he was from Africa. He was like looking around like he didn't know where didn't look like he looked like he didn't know where he was at and how he got there. It was kind of funny, but I almost didn't let the guy come on because he just showed up. It's like, man, he wasn't even in chat. So after that, I was like, okay. I felt like I shouldn't let him on, but then it was just like, okay, let him on. You know what I mean? So I felt the urge to let him on. So it was like, okay, so I had the gut feeling I was getting prompted both ways. You shouldn't do this, but hold on, go ahead now. Now that you knew you shouldn't have, but you did. Now you know how easy it is to get trolled, right? Because I wasn't thinking about the fact that on my phone, no one's able to screen share. You got your video, but I never really, as long as people ain't showing up naked, I wasn't thinking about them doing something like that either. You know what I mean? By literally just doing this, when whatever's on their screens, what you see. So
You know that how we have the text chat in this VC right now on Discord?
yeah.
That's how they were able to do it.
Oh,
So they botted and it's bro, it's disgusting that some guy programmed a bot to do that in the first place is insane. right? But then also people know about it. But yeah, they were able to exploit security measures. They were able to like, you know how it says what is truth, talk privately at the top of your voice chat. They changed that to the most abominable things you could imagine. And they were able to change the channels, they were able to delete channels, they were able to change the names to show crazy stuff on YouTube. They were able to bomb the voice chat text thing and have it pop up on the live stream. That's how they did it.
Right.
So it's absolutely crazy.
So it wasn't even you quite like it wasn't even you quite slipping up. It was you didn't like you obviously didn't know enough to know they could do that. I mean, you basically got hacked.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah. So
because the bots are designed to find any exploit possible and then maximize the control, right? So like they find an exploit, then they take that exploit and use it to change the permissions and give themselves like mod power to where they can do whatever they want. And that's exactly what happened.
okay. Okay. Yeah, see, I was trying to make it to where so I was just earlier. I was just playing with it right before I started the stream, and actually made this channel open. Like I said, it was hidden. I just realized that, and was playing around with the things. But I was trying to make it to where I was trying to make it to where I could give you the option to go with your camera, right? You know, like I want to be able to give the people an option to the people that I know. You know what I mean? Like you know. So
Yeah, I would say don't even let anybody you don't know on the live stream, bro.
okay.
I should have been doing it on VODs. I should have been recording it and then posting it and stuff. Um, but it got so much traction because they could come up because they always thought they had some magic explanatory power to get out of the loss and they just couldn't
Huh.
because like that shirt that I sent you in the VC, that's just the conclusion of all their arguments in a nutshell, and they always end up there. So they would think that they could come up and reason, they could argue their way out of Aristotle or something like that, and they they hate it, and they end up with these positions that are untenable. Um, so they're gonna get mad about that, especially when they're on their own channel live streaming you, and then they're embarrassing themselves with Chat GPT or whatever.
Oh,
They'll come for you, bro.
gotcha.
So it was
So I mean,
atheists that did
yeah.
it?
So when it comes, oh, go ahead, go ahead.
You're saying was it atheists that hacked you?
Well, I mean, well, first off, yeah, we hosted like 3 atheist channels, and then right after that, we got swarmed, and the debate was atheism is a cult. So I highly doubt that a Catholic or
Yeah.
something or a Protestant would come up and do that. They have no reason
No.
to, you know.
Dude, I don't even believe in atheists. I think they're all Satanists.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you.
Like, you know, the ones that I'm talking about, the ones that are actually promoting it and advocating for it and debating for it. They're Satanists. Your normal
Yeah.
atheist doesn't care about religion and debating things like this. He's got no interest in it. You know, why would someone who doesn't believe in God be so interested in debating theology? That doesn't make sense.
Well, we noticed that with them. What happened was like some of like I would say 10% of them would come up and then they would realize they're not even atheists. And then the
Right.
other ones, the hardcore ones, would behave as if it was a religion. They would always compare it to religion every time.
It is. It is a religion. Yeah, and all their scientists are their priests and everything. Don't you dare question their priests.
Yeah. So well, this while is kind of okay. So if we're going on spinning ball model, so it means that the Earth was created by the sun because the sun was so big. Therefore, it was created by gravity. So the sun is the God, the creator. Gravity be more like the Holy Spirit or the Word that created it, right? or or like the whatever it calls it together. The 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 scientists with their theories being like the prophets of the Bible, and then the professors being the biblical teachers. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I mean, but the
Yeah, it makes the sun God. That's what it
yeah,
does.
it does. I mean, you put the sun at the center of the
Ironically, we got all these Trinitarians saying the Son is God instead. You notice that?
yeah. No, I yeah no
Jesus is God.
yeah I have noticed that, right.
Sort of
And
the same thing, isn't it? It's always about making the Son
right.
God. It's
So
interesting.
so okay, without trying to go into a Trinitarian debate right now. So I don't. You probably didn't catch this, right? But I think it was yesterday. Someone put in chat, and someone that's regularly here. I'm a Trinity 100%, and it just dawned on me. And I think I'd already been starting to say this. Like, okay, so to be fair, if someone's 100% Trinitarian, okay, that means if Justinian's law comes back and its heresies goes back to punishable to death. If someone's 100% Trinitarian, then they would be liable to turn me in, to have me tried and executed for sure, 100%. To be 100% Trinitarian, you have to be willing to turn in a heretic to death.
Well, I mean, you're essentially Catholic when you're 100% Trinitarian.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm just saying.
It's
So,
their
like,
doctrine.
I mean, throughout the whole Catholic world, though, it was punishable to death.
Dude, I was talking to my friend who kept telling me I had to believe in the Trinity to be saved. It turns out he doesn't believe the Holy Spirit's a third person or a person. And I said, dude, you're not even a Trinitarian. Like, you're a binitarian. And he didn't like that. But he'd been telling me this whole time I had to believe the Trinity to be saved. And then when I started talking to him about it, he's not even Trinitarian himself. I just thought it was really ironic.
So you guys here, something I noticed is so we came up with some interesting, what would be the word? Um, we came up with some interesting theories, I suppose, and we were playing with this crazy idea, and I'm not going to say it here. If you guys want to get involved, then you can find it through Tanner's channel on his Discord, and then find me there or something. But we found, or we formulated this theory that is extremely rational. It's very logically sound, and kind of the conclusion that we came to is that and I know people aren't gonna like anything about this. No Christian that we've come across so far has liked this theory at first. But when you play it out, it actually solves a lot of problems. It actually solves the schism, which is crazy to say, I know, but it works, at least logically. And what it ends up pointing out is, and I think I would rather have a Catholic or an Orthodox at my side than an atheist, 100%. But what it does is it ends up pointing out this thing that atheists hate. And so, like, we did a lot of research. We went through a bunch of debates on it. The core of the schism actually plays like, and I know it sounds crazy, but I'm just saying there's possibilities out there. It's something that atheists would rebuke at the highest level. It's something that they would say in order to destroy faith. So if you guys ever want to come in and get in on that topic, buyer beware, viewer discretion advised. It is hardcore. And the only reason we developed it over hours. We went through like every possible scripture about it with a bunch of people that didn't agree and kind of came to this workable theory. And so if you guys want to see it, feel free. But it makes me feel it solves a lot of problems that like doctrine kind of relies on, and it, in my opinion, makes the Bible stronger. And it doesn't add it doesn't add anything that's not in the Bible, and it kind of makes the pill easier to swallow for people who disagree about the Trinity and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it gives a logical, it like unifies the two views in a beautiful, logical way. And I don't have a problem with people that argue either way on it. We've had
Yeah.
tons of arguments about it. But that's what I'm saying. I think there's a greater enemy at play here. And I think you guys would say it's the same source of the toxification of the institutions of churches and the things you don't like about religions in general. It's the same root thing at the very bottom. So it's interesting, just a thought experiment. But
Okay.
you know, feel free to believe what you want.
Gotcha. I mean, and then that's the truth. At the end of the day, we all can, you know, believe what we want, don't believe what we don't want. You know, so yeah. So, and again, guys, I mean, anybody wants to join Discord, please do. Cole's in there. Bob's not in there yet. Trying to see who else is in chat that's in there. Waiting on Sam to jump in. I think J Pole just jumped in. Tara just jumped in. So, and again, you know what I'm gonna do though too is there's the very first voice chat room you come to is gonna be just a safe place, right? You don't a place where you don't have to defend your doctrine. You know, you don't have to say who you know. No one's gonna ask you who's your God, who do you worship. Um, go to another voice chat, you might get asked that, right?
An interesting thing that we kind of realized is that a lot of these atheists they throw away epistemology, they throw away teleology, they throw away ontology. So the only way they can defend their position is if they think they can't know anything, nothing exists, and there's no purpose for anything.
Yeah.
And I don't care what religion you have, but at least they're giving you something that's way more rational. I talk to a lot of atheists and they always you know, because they're gonna paint a believer as somebody who's irrational. And we actually did like a statistical breakdown of the rationality and the logic behind a personal God. I personally think a personal God is completely rational. It's actually more rational than any possible atheist belief.
Right.
And we played out that argument live multiple times. And at the end of it, a lot of at least the reasonable, critically thinking, self-proclaiming atheists came to this point where they're like, oh, damn, it does actually make more sense than my current position. So if you guys believe in a personal God, or if you at least have any type of faith, you're a lot better off than otherwise. I'd say that.
Yeah. Gotcha. Gotcha. So, all right.
I think everyone. I think we all know inherently God exists. We just you either want it to be true or you don't want it to be true for certain reasons. And I think usually with the atheist is they don't want God to exist because then they're accountable for their sins, and they don't want it. Why would you? That's embarrassing, right? I think that's the crux of the whole. You know, it's just you know what I mean. Everyone's done a bunch of improper things, and if God exists, He saw it all. That's embarrassing. So it's easier to just say He doesn't exist, and then the problem's solved. That's what I think's going on with atheism.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a responsibility thing, right? And for me, there's been moments in my life, and people will still say, well, hey, not everything's your fault. But there's been tragedies in my life. And here's one, right? So in 2017, we got flooded out of our house. There was like 4 feet of water. And, you know, for a while I thought, woe is me. I'm a victim of this act of God. And I didn't mean God like, I didn't mean like Yahweh flooded me to be a jerk.
real quick. You're in like Dallas, ain't you?
I'm in Houston.
You're in Houston. Okay, so it probably wasn't act of God. It was probably weather warfare. It's probably weather modification.
Oh, no, dude. Believe me, bro. I'm all about the heart machine. But what I meant was that it was something out of my control, right?
Yeah.
And I felt like a victim. right? For a while, I felt like a victim. And then at the end of it, and this has happened numerous times in my life, but then I started to think, well, if only I had positioned myself differently in the world, if only I lived on higher ground, if only I was more aware of the weather, if only this, if only that. And it actually felt better to take responsibility for my own failures than it did to feel like a victim.
Yeah.
So, with what Cross said, I totally agree. It's the responsibility that they don't want, and it's a victim mindset that they're like addicted to,
Huh.
right? Because if you're not responsible, it means you're just a victim, right? And that's why I love the story of the ark. It's you have a duty to prepare for the imminent flood. I literally got flooded. I've been spiritually flooded in my life. Um, but you got to take responsibility for it ultimately, whether you think it's an act of God or an act of evil by man, whatever it is. Sure, some stuff's out of your control, but me personally, I feel better thinking it's my fault. That's just me.
Huh. Okay. Yeah. So, but yeah, that probably was okay. So I think this was before I quite got quite so far into weather modification. So yeah, Houston's close to the Gulf, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
All right. So there was two hurricanes in a row, a few years, like just a couple years apart, maybe a single year apart, very close together. One you got the hurricanes was bad, but one neighborhood in particular got flooded like feet and feet of water. Um, like just got devastated. The same neighborhood. Worse than everything else. So I was watching this documentary, right? And the documentary was about the first responders that went out to save people from these houses and stuff. And they had this great big truck that would go through feet of water. And they really did put themselves at risk. Um going and saving people. But what I remember specifically, they showed the radar, and they showed how the hurricane was spinning, and they showed when the hurricane got to a certain spot that right over that neighborhood would light up red, and it just kept doing it. It kept just lighting up every once in a while. This one neighborhood would light up red. Now that I go back and like think about that in my mind, it was obviously they was targeting that one area harder than everywhere else. So it's probably it was probably stopping the hurricane and doing something there to make extra rain fall on that one spot, right? Because that one little spot lit up red over and over and over, and they basically did the exact same thing a year or two before that. So, and that's probably one of the same uh, storms you're talking about.
We got flooded out in Harvey. That was the name of the hurricane.
What was it?
It was considered like 1,000-year flood.
Okay, yeah. So that's their favorite thing. One of their favorite things to do is make one in the 1,000-year floods and 1,000-year droughts. Um, continually making 1,000-year flood and 1,000-year drought. And just so we're clear, I invited some more people into the chat. Um, so if anybody else wants to chime in, you can. Ain't got at this point in time. I don't think enough. We got any particular topic. So and some people over there in YouTube. I'm still inviting some of y'all. If you want to join in. So J Paul, I think you kept talking about wanting to join in possibly on a panel. So J Paul, if you go to my channel and go to the description, you can join in Discord. You join in Discord and I'll invite you in, or you can just come jump in. Okay, I was just reading your comment. So, yeah, anybody over here got anything? So, I'm glad to see you back, man. Cool. I'm trying to see who's even over here. What's up? What's up, Brad of Justice? Ain't talked to you in a while. You hear me, Rat?
That's my boy, Rat. Gotta love Rat.
I
He's a
know.
good dude. Everybody should everybody should have a friend like Rat.
I know. So I like to get him start coming back on the live stream again and be like a co-host. I was wanting him to like to have like a dedicated day of the week. Just one dedicated day of the week. He'd be the only person on and just co-host the, however long he wanted to co-host for. Um, when he comes on, it's golden stuff, man. It's good stuff. Like you could just when you see him and you're talking to him, it's obviously he's genuine and authentic. You know what I mean? So you want to jump in here, Lawrence?
Yeah, he's one of the nicest guys around.
Yeah. You want to jump in here, Lawrence? You can go to bed. You can go to bed, Midbar. I was just sending invites, and that I just naturally sent you on. You're Pickle Rick. Got you. You are Pickle Rick, ain't you? So why don't you jump in here, Lawrence? So anybody got anything you want to chime in with? No, we're not necessarily debating. You want to jump in here, Chris? You can jump in here. Look, you go to my channel, you can click on the links, go to Discord, click on the Discord link. When you jump in, you just come find us on the voice chat, or I'll invite you either way. So, not necessarily debating. I mean, you want to talk about something, it's whatever you want to talk about at this point in time. So, um, I mean, so so Jesus says I'll come again, though, Michael. Okay. I mean, that's about the gist of it. Okay. So it says he's gonna come on a white horse. Yeah, yeah, we're on Discord. So I'm Discord, and I'm just screen sharing to it. I'm just streaming it via screen share. So I mean, you just go to my channel description, click on Discord. So, but yeah, so yeah, man, that's got to be rough, man. So you say okay, so you say your house was flooded out, right? In 2017.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I mean that was like okay, was you home? Did you like did was you home? Did you vacate the city?
Well, so I used to think it was goofy when I saw people get flooded and they were stuck. But what happened to us was that the water came so fast and the rivers flooded so quick that every exit to our neighborhood was blocked. It
Yeah.
was impassable, right? So, like, people were at the grocery store, like our neighbor, her husband was at the grocery store and he could not get back for days because he was stuck on the other side of these rivers. And this land had never flooded before, ever in recorded history, right? Because they got to tell you on like the property, like if it's in a floodplain and all that stuff. And but it was torrential. It was literally record breaking.
Yeah.
Um, and and so what we noticed was by time you're ready to leave, you're already stuck. You're like on an island, right? And so yeah, we ended up there was water moving crazy quick. We had to get voted out. We were stuck on the second floor of the house. I had just bought a new Ford Explorer, and I parked it on the highest part of the property of this land that had never flooded.
Yeah.
And after the flood, there was mud on my dashboard.
Yeah.
So that's how high the water got. The water got high enough to cover the dashboard of a Ford Explorer in mud on the highest part of the property. So it just happens too fast. And then we had to be boated out by wildlife agents and stuff like that, like rescue teams. It was the water, the bridges into the neighborhood where the water was too deep for even like 7-ton trucks to pass through. It was like, seriously, some of the bridges were like 12, 15 feet underwater.
Yeah.
And people in a nearby neighborhood, there's a friend of ours. He lived in one of those pole houses, and his deck was underwater, and it's elevated 15 feet off the ground. So they were saying that the water was nearly 30 feet deep where he was.
Huh.
So there was like people on their roofs and stuff.
Yeah.
1 second. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. No problem, J-Pool. So, all right. Yeah.
Yeah, have a nice time.
You what?
All right, I'm back. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. You're good. No problem. So I'm just again, I was just glad to have you on for a minute. Regardless, I was just curious what had happened. You know what I mean? To your stream, but now that you're in this story, So okay, so I'll tell you what. So and I still need to go make it public, and this is probably one of them, if any of them, that I wanted to download. So I had a guest on the other day, right? The guy's name was Muhammad. He's Palestinian, lives in Jerusalem, and so he came on, and some people thought I was debating. I kept telling him, like, no, we're not debating nothing. Like, I want to hear what this man's got to say. He was young, man, like 18 years old. He's in his last year of school, but can't go to school because of the war. Um, but and I got to ask him all kinds of questions, like, what is your life actually like? You know what I mean? Like, what's it like having these walls and these checkpoints, and what are you getting? Can you get food? What's these things really like to you? And so he got to discuss this, and one thing I did find out, for him in Jerusalem, it ain't near as bad as the West Bank or the Gaza Strip, right? Um, So, but yeah, it's just like, man, okay, for me though, I don't know no war. I don't know no war. And the only thing, the only thing that's close, I mean, I guess we got. I mean, it's like, okay, like, even though I went there, I saw towers fall, right? And then the only thing I could have remotely close to something like that is just knowing people in my country these days are getting flooded out and drowned out and devastated due to weather modification. And then it's just like so easily to people forget. Like, I mean, it's so easy to forget right now in the Appalachian Mountains. People are still probably living in tents. The last time I saw anything about it, probably last fall, they big swaths of area, interstates and stuff was shut down, and you had to have access to get in there. You had to be approved to go in there and help.
Right. Yeah, gratitude is one of the most important things you could possibly have. And it's easy to say that, and I agree with you. I mean, people have suffered way worse than I've ever suffered, and I totally acknowledge that. And anytime I'm being an ingrate, I need to recognize that and get my crap together, so to speak. But also, you only know what you know, right? Whatever the maximum for you is the maximum. And I think that's why, and you know me, I love the story of Job, right? But gratitude and faith are so important. And that's just something I notice when I'm having these debates. And if you guys want to debate, feel free to hit me up anytime. I love debate. Even if we agree, I'll just take the other side just for the sake of the debate.
Right.
Yeah, I totally understand what you mean. Like it's hard to have perspective when you don't know what this guy's been through, but um I'm sure you've had your own, circumstances where they would get it, you know?
Yeah. So I real quick, I'm just gonna comment. Okay, so whoever, so Hercules, right? So, all right, so Jesus was from Nazareth in Galilee. That's where he lived in his adult life. That's apparently where Mary and Joseph had met from. Okay, but um, Joseph was of the tribe of David. Mary was of the tribe of Levi, um, priestly line. Okay, um, her cousin Elizabeth was also from the tribe of Levi. She was married to a priest. Um, so in John it says when the you know they said it two ways, almost back to back, right? And it shows that they was waiting on a Messiah, but yet they was blind and ignorant to him when he came. It was like, this man's from Galilee. When the son, when the Messiah comes, he's gonna be of the tribe of David, right? The tribe of Judah. Okay, and then immediately thereafter it says, we know where this man's from. When the Messiah comes, we want to know where he's from. So they say it two different ways. If you pay attention, and when you pay attention, in John, it was obviously that they was waiting on him, but they was blind and ignorant when he came. Okay, but that's why he was born in Bethlehem, right? I mean, he was born in his ancestral town. So yeah, both. I mean, so he definitely of the tribe of Judah, um, by his earthly father, right? Even though, I mean, look, it wasn't Joseph's seed, but this is almost, I don't know if you could I don't know if you could consider it like a family redeemer type thing, right? You know, I don't know if you consider it like that, but I mean, Joseph took him on as his own. So like, if you adopt somebody, if you adopt, you could adopt. Okay, so like, let's say you took a woman as a wife who was already pregnant. Okay, you when that baby came out, you're married to her. That baby could take your name. That baby could be your son. You could be proud papa, right? This is my son, whom I love. Right, but you know good and well it wasn't your seed. So right, so it's like, okay, where was the baby conceived at? Maybe move somewhere else. So I mean, just look a little closer. Yeah. So I mean, both Jesus looked up. So Jesus lived in Galilee, though Nazareth of Galilee, and then what's funny about that is the whole no prophet came from Galilee, right? Can anything good come from Galilee? Um. So, and I don't know if there's more to it about maybe gave him a chance to pick disciples from Galilee, gave him a chance to. So one thing Jesus do a lot was get away from the towns. See, when he went to the other towns to preach to them, but once his name came known because of the miracles, he couldn't get away from them. He wanted to get away. He wanted to get away out in the country, out in the wilderness, spend time just with his disciples, but the people won't let him. So, yeah. So you got rescued off your second floor then.
Well, we had to wade out through the first floor. But yeah, the water in the downstairs was probably like mid thigh high. It was at least knee high. It wasn't waist deep or anything like that. But like out in the street, because the houses are built on like a hill. They're 6, 8 feet above the road.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, they had to come get us. And actually, on the block behind us, the people that had the same address, but on the street over,
I, I
um,
so
they were in a boat with their kids, and their boat flipped.
ooh,
So that's how strong the current was,
and so
because the roads when the floods happen, the roads become like super fast rivers,
Okay.
like relatively fast compared to
So
what a
so
natural river
so
would
so
be.
they're designed. The roads are designed to where it can flood 5, 6, 7 feet and not flood the houses in your neighborhood. Basically,
Yeah. But what I'm saying is like roads in America, they're designed in a way to move water
yeah,
like off the road, right?
yeah,
And what that does is creates like it makes when they flood high, when it's too high for the curbs and stuff, and the sewers are overloaded, then the water on the roads start moving super fast, like way faster than a normal river would move, you know? And that's kind of what happened. But it was, it knocked out all the electricity, all the like privacy fences, like those 6 foot board fences around in neighborhoods between houses. All of those were wiped out. We had like probably a 25-foot tree that was bigger around than a man,
yeah.
laying across our front door. Like we had a porch that went across the front of the house and it's probably 40 or 50 feet wide or something. And we had a massive tree lean like flooded up against our house. So just that's how much water it took that it could. I know trees,
Yeah,
you know, like so. Imagine a tree that's got at least to have a 1 or 2 foot diameter, 40 feet long, 30 feet long,
yeah.
across the whole front of the house, pushing up against it from the water. That's how much water there was.
And so that I mean that had to be like some traumatic stuff, PTSD. But okay, so like I'm sure. So you say 2017. So I'm sure for like years to come, and even now. Okay, so when it starts raining bad, storms are coming. Like I mean, is it nothing does it kind of kick back in? Oh man, it could happen again.
Um, No, but I think it's because I changed my relationship with it.
Okay.
Remember, like I said, I used to feel like a victim.
Yeah.
And then I was like, why didn't I live in a house on a hill? Right? That's what I ended up thinking is I should have lived in a different part of town if I had my crap together. Um, and so for me, it was like a preparation thing because the flood's imminent. Like literal floods are imminent. Noah's flood was imminent. The atheist cult attack on my channel was imminent. It was coming, and I just didn't prepare for it.
Yeah.
Just like every other tragedy in your life. But one thing I will say is we didn't know, nobody knew, hundreds of thousands of people didn't know that they were flooded and that it would keep coming nonstop for days because it's just slow. It just kept coming. And then at a certain point, you're like, holy crap, my kitchen counter's underwater, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and then it is scary. And you're stuck. It's a power outage. So families are stuck on the second floors of their house and stuff like that. And so it does get scary
And
for
then it's
sure.
dark. And it's dark all night.
It's dark all night. You don't have any cell reception, no batteries, no nothing, right? Like so that's another thing. We're like, damn, we weren't prepared. Which it's reasonable to say we weren't prepared because we lived in a place that had never flooded in recorded history,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna say he was a victim too. Again, to what that's what I call weather warfare. And so Lawrence dropped in chat about Helene, and that's the one I was or Helen. That's one I was talking about in the Appalachians. And apparently, what was really bad there. So to begin with, that was a storm. That hurricane got to land and increased size, strength, or power, or water, or something, and it increased. But what the best explanation I heard of why it got so devastating was that it drenched mountains. Okay, and every once in a while there would be on the mountain there'd just be a landslide. Some trees would go down, which just one or two of them, whatever. But when we see a flood, when you see the big trees and logs floating down river, and then eventually they'll hit a bridge, and a lot of times like the one of the pillars of the bridge, you'll have like a nice little um pile of logs there, looking like a big beaver dam. Well, apparently, what was happening was it was picking up those logs and catching them, and landslides was happening, and then there was plugging up at the bridges, and then it was backing up the water like a dam, and eventually the bridge would give away. And once the bridge gave away, it would go downstream in the next one. You know what I mean? So they was like backing up. And but then this big wall would just come down and bust through it all, right? And so I remember when that happened. I remember watching that, just like the first thing I remember seeing on that one, I was in the YouTube short feed, and it showed someone inside their house, and then all of a sudden the raging water came through their window. And I was like, "Oh wow!" I thought it was like a tsunami or something. I didn't know, like I didn't know what was going on. I thought it was like a tsunami. Had no clue it was the hurricane in the Appalachian Mountains, right? Um,
What is interesting, and this might be a little conspiratorial or whatever, but what was interesting is after we got out, um, I went back and was trying to access our home to go get important stuff, right?
yeah,
And they had all of the perimeters, every public access way in. They had police officers and stuff like that cordoning it off, not
yeah.
letting you in or out. Well, I mean, they'd let you out, obviously, but they wouldn't let you go in. And I thought that was so strange. I mean, I snuck in anyways, um, but it was just really interesting that I don't know, kind of fishy, you
Yeah.
know?
No, I mean that's the way it is. As far as I know, it's probably still down there in different parts of the Appalachians. Like, like even the people that go down and volunteer, you have to like jump through hoops, right? Man,
You have to
so
be an you have to be an agent of the state.
yeah. So, and I remember seeing this one dude give testimony. He there's a lot of them special forces guys, that did did a lot of tours in like Afghanistan and Iraq and stuff. Some of them guys have started ministries of being first responders to these big disasters, right? Because they just, they have the means, they have the know-how. Some of them, some have like companies now that have a lot of equipment, but they're trained to be able to multitask and just assess the situation and just get stuff done. And the one guy said he was like one of the first persons there, and he got roadblocked, right? And they wouldn't let him in. People was dying, and they wouldn't let him in. I don't know if it was FEMA or I can't remember who said it was, but they wouldn't let him in, and held him up for days. And finally, he just packed up and went to a different location, right? Yeah.
That's
So
what one of my friends, that's what he does for a living now. He works for a nonprofit. By any measure, I wish he could come on here and give testimony about his experience. He actually is, he, he was a Marine before he graduated high school. So the summer before senior year, he went through boot camp. And then right after he finished boot camp, he went back and finished high school. And then right after senior year, he got sent to infantry training battalion. And before he even finished at infantry training battalion, he had his first deployment. So he was 17 years old. And by any stretch of the imagination, he's a war hero, 100%. If you met him and heard his story and saw his accommodations and stuff, you're like, this guy's a real war hero. And that's what he does now, is he literally does uh like hurricane first responding and stuff like that. So those are the type of guys that do that.
yeah, I mean, like, so the guys can be driving down the road, stuff get blowed up, and they got to figure out how to fix the road, make a bridge, you know, learn how to search and destroy or search and rescue, learn how to tourniquet off a bleeding wound in the middle of the field. You know what I mean? Of course they are. Of
Yeah.
course they are. So
And that's the type of jobs those guys want. These guys they have a sense of duty and a sense of honor,
yeah,
and they want to help people. And and they are also adrenaline junkies with like no regard for their own safety,
Yeah.
basically, you know.
Well,
Um,
yeah. So I mean, it's like okay. So a lot of guys that come back from war and then they have to figure out how to deal with their PTSD, right? For you, if you ask me, that'd be the best way to deal with it. One is like you said, a sense of duty, but a sense of accomplishment. But I think the best way to do it would be do the things that a normal person couldn't wrap their head around. You know what I mean? Like I don't, you know, me, it's like there's been times like I kind of wanted to go help with. I mean, I did help with the tornado cleanup in my town back in 2019. But like I thought about trying to make it down to help clean up after some hurricanes because I can run chainsaw real good, right? And but that whole dead bodies being everywhere, in log jams. I mean I don't think I wrap my head around that, man. You know, so
yeah,
just that much
I
that much
would say
that much devastation.
on a side note, and I'm sure everybody here already feels that this way, but uh, like the stuff kids see, like by our measure, kids half our age, um, the stuff they see and the effects that it has on them in civilian life. So when you see that guy that's a homeless veteran or whatever, um, it's unimaginable. And I'm sure people here know exactly what I'm talking about. It it'll change your level of sympathy for them if you really look into what happens to them.
Yeah,
The statistics on reassimilation. Uh, some of the nicest, most peaceful guys I ever met. If you heard their stories, it would blow your mind. So the things that you see them, what you think looks ridiculous, you're like, oh, um, you know, get your shit together, get a job or something like that. It's like I don't think people that feel like that a lot of times I don't think they really know what's going on, right?
yeah,
Like they don't really have an appreciation for the stuff that these kids go through. Um, it's unbelievable, dude.
yeah.
Truly.
And so, like looking back on it, and again, I think most of them are just better off to had been in like special forces, constantly being deployed. Rather than just doing one or two tours, just sticking with it, just and maybe I'm wrong about it. I mean, I think they've been better off. You know, just highly training, deploying, don't point, training. Just living the warrior lifestyle. Yeah, you're still gonna be messed up when you come out, but I think
Uh, one thing one thing I'll say is this is something I see a lot. People say they know a service member or something, and they're like, "Oh, but he did paperwork." Okay, so I'll give a little anecdote about a fella I knew. You guys would consider any rational person would consider this guy a warrior. And this is a different guy, and this is a kid.
okay,
This happened to this guy by the time he was 19 years old, right? So he joined up in hopes of being a machine gun. And the way that the government and the military and the DoD works is that it doesn't matter what you sign up to do because you're not actually signing up to do that. You're signing up to be whatever they tell you to be, whatever they want you to be,
yeah,
right? So this kid wants to be a machine gunner, um, thinks he's going to be a machine gunner, and gets transferred over to paperwork.
yeah,
Then he's going and he's doing paperwork. And then when he gets deployed, he ends up getting positioned as a machine gunner. So it's
wow,
kind of funny, right?
yeah,
Um, but now he's a machine gunner without true machine gunner training. Like
oh,
he got training, but it wasn't his actual profession.
it
He
wasn't.
got trained to do
It wasn't.
administrative paperwork.
He didn't go to work every day. This is my job. This is my job. This is my job.
Right. He was admin. So that's what I'm saying. When you see these guys and you're like, oh, he was just admin in the army or something. He was a supply guy. That's not how it works. So the supply guy in the army could have seen stuff you couldn't imagine. Um, and they're all victims in a sense too to like the military industrial complex. So I would just say have absolute sympathy. Um, even if you don't support war, you don't support the government. Hell, dude, I never talked to a service member that did support war or did support the military
Yeah.
industrial complex. That's not what these kids are thinking, right? These kids are thinking, "Oh, my brothers are out there," that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Let me do my part, or let me just go to college or whatever. Um, so no matter how anti-government you are, no matter how anti-military industrial complex, these guys aren't the problem. And you say, well, he wasn't infantry or whatever, and it's like that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't. That's not how it works in reality.
Yeah.
They could be anything and end up uh, in something you'd see in a movie, and their friend is gone forever in a split second. And they come back and there's nothing to assimilate them to society after that. It doesn't work. The statistics are horrifying. They say the people that transfer out of stuff like that, they have the highest rate of divorce, highest rate of suicide,
Yeah.
highest rate of murder, highest rate of drug addiction, highest rate of homelessness.
Yeah.
And these are guys who like were trying to do a good thing by all measures,
Yeah. So like the guys doing these having these businesses that can relate, and they hire them. It'd be great if they just hooked up to them first, or like these people going in and doing this disaster relief by doing this crazy stuff. It'd almost be better if they just went straight from and transitioned into that. So, but it's like so for me, it's like now knowing I know, I don't agree with most wars. Like I'm not anti-war, like, and I'm not opposed to overthrowing a dictator by no means, but like I understand that the wars that we had was based on lies. Um, so it's like in a sense, I'm kind of glad I didn't go get in on that. Um, but at the same time, is like you said, being in that age, knowing your brothers is out there, that's exactly how I felt. Um, seeing war go down with that break out with Iraq, and you know what I mean. Like I went and talked to a recruiter. You know what I mean? And it's just like looking back on it, I'm so glad that I didn't go. Cause I know what for one, I know what it messes people up, if they live. But and I don't agree with those wars now. I'm not opposed to overthrowing Saddam Hussein by no means. But it's just but it's at the same time as I still, the rest of my life is just like there was war, everybody else went and I didn't. You know what I mean? I'm never like it don't matter. Like I never ain't nothing I've ever I mean, I've worked it in my head in multiple different ways, and it's just like I can't get past that. You know what I mean? Like I didn't make it.
Well, I would say that like those guys are at least they can kind of take because I know these guys, right? Um they they're glad that you didn't have to, right? And
Yeah,
I know what you're saying about it's better if these organizations connect with them early, but there's not enough organizations.
yeah,
It's just too many people. And
yeah,
so think about this. Statistically speaking, the largest group of people that are going to be a homeless person or addicted to drugs. So a homeless junkie that you see is statistically likely to have been a service member. And then out of those ones, the most likely ones out of the service members that end up as homeless junkies, those are guys who experienced something traumatic. And statistically speaking, those guys don't want to talk about it. So it's not like they're going to say that, right? So you might be just looking at a homeless junkie, but statistically speaking, it's going to pretty much be a war hero, you know? And you'd think it wouldn't be that way, but that it's they make you take courses to go back into to assimilate into society, and they show you the statistics, and they're like, it's we are mandatory. It's mandatory that we have these courses because you guys are probably screwed, you
yeah,
know. And so I don't know. I would just say I get it. you know, they what's funny, they say that like blue states are more kind to people that are in that situation. And I kind of understand, you know, they say like you take your average conservative and they might be like, you know, bootstraps, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And it's like you're more likely to it's more likely that that person does deserve your sympathy than that they don't,
Yeah.
you know. So I just, you know, keep that in mind, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So yeah. So it's like with that being said, so I'm actually hoping he does go through it, but my stepson signed up for the Navy. He goes to boot camp later this month. Um and he was supposed to have went to the Marines last year, and he let I don't know, he talked himself out, let some people talked out, and he's like, well, there's so many wars going on about to pop off, and like I keep telling him though, it's like, man, for one, you're not doing nothing with your life, and that's one reason why he's thinking about going. He thought about going back and picked a different route, but he's like, he realizes that he needs to do something with his life, right, and figure out life. I'm like, okay, but like, and I keep telling him, like, dude, like, at this point in time, I don't want you to go because I know that all these wars are messed up and they're just unjust. But all you ever wanted to do in life was go to the military. You know what I mean? If you don't go to the military, w- one day you're not going to be up when you're too old to go. You're going to regret it. You know what I mean? That's all you're going to ever think about is I didn't go. I didn't go. I didn't go. I didn't go. And so it's like for him, I'm 100% supporting him. Um, you know, it's I mean, that's all he ever wanted to do, and he ain't gonna, you know, do nothing if he don't go. So
Oh, I have endless stories to touch on that thing. Like, just because he's going into the Navy doesn't mean that he's not gonna experience the things that you think guys in Saving Private Ryan experienced, right?
yeah,
So, um, I already told you about the admin.
yeah,
The administrative machine gunner. Okay, so my cousin, his job was he was a uh, instrument engineer. So he stared at dials, is what his job would suggest in the Navy, right? But you got to consider this: he stared at dials on an aircraft that transported special forces. So just because he's an instrument specialist doesn't mean he didn't experience things,
yeah,
right? And then like my friend that I said does the cleanup, you wouldn't know by looking at him, but if you sat down and had a heart to heart with him about the stuff that he saw before he was able to drink legally, it was so heartbreaking, bro.
yeah,
Another one of my friends, I had this guy, a friend of mine, and he joined because he didn't want to do battle. So he was the opposite of the administrative machine gunner, right? And he joined really late, and he was adopted, and he was sheltered his whole life. And he said, "Ooh, I get to be a Marine, but if I'm a mechanic, I'll never have to go into battle."
yeah,
Right? This is a pacifist, right? And he ended up, because of his scoring, he ended up being a designated marksman. So his job was to be the overwatch for a fob. So he was literally like American Sniper. That was this guy's job, and
yeah,
he was a kid who didn't want to do war.
yeah,
And the amount of PTSD he had was
yeah.
unfathomable, bro.
So yeah, yeah, and so I guess his brother still told him said, yeah, I think you should be a chef because that's what he's going to do. He's going to go to cook or be a chef. He says, because you like cooking, you've always thought about being a chef, and he says then you won't see war. I was like, man, that's bad advice. I mean, it's not bad advice, but just tell him he's not going to be in a war zone because yeah, if he goes to be a chef, he's going to probably be a chef once he's going to be a chef for so many months on a base, and then he's going to have to do so many months on a ship of some sort or a sub of some sort that could go into a war zone. You know what I mean? So, like, even a chef might go be in a war zone. You know what I mean?
there are cooks who are war heroes,
Yeah.
cooks, and the tent that they're cooking in on a fob gets wiped out, and it's them, and that's it, right? So it's not. Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like you have to just assume, kind of, because what's the cost of assuming that they didn't ever do anything or whatever? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can say, oh, well, whatever. That guy's just a bum or whatever, but it's a mechanic, it's a cook, it's an instrument operator. It's
Yeah.
guys who don't have the time. My other brother, so my brother-in-law's brother is a medic. So you're like, oh, that's not so bad, dude. He's a medic with the highest level of special operations that you can think of. That's what this guy was, right?
Yeah.
So his job title isn't Navy SEAL, but he was attached to him, or
Yeah.
radio operators. You're like, oh, this guy's going to be safe. He's a radio operator. You know who needs radio operators?
The guys that are in trouble.
Yeah,
The guys
that's
who
who
need
needs
help.
radio.
The guys who having a bad day. The guy says sin help.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then you got to figure out how to get him help. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have to be there.
Yeah.
They have to be there. So, I don't know. The sympathy thing I think is really important. And you can't judge a book by its cover because you don't have the information, and they're not going to want to talk about it with you. That's just how it works. You know?
Yeah. Oh man, you got me think about that one movie. I never did get a chance to watch. I never did watch it. I remember catching a very tail end of it a couple years back. Went to my neighbor's house, but it was about one of the guys that was in a Air Force base in like Texas or something, or Arizona. I don't know, somewhere down around you. And he flew drones. He piloted drones from America over in the Middle East, and they had him blowing up weddings and stuff. Just all kinds of innocent people. You know, he'd fly over, he'd zoom in, and he'd tell them what they see. Like, oh yeah, well that they're terrorists, blow them up. And he was, and he'd shoot missiles at these people, and told a story about it later, and they made a movie about it. I guess went and told. At the end of the movie, it was like real life footage of him talking to the United Nations about it. What that was about.
Yeah, about 15 years ago, they instituted a new medal that's on the same level as like what you would consider like a combat action ribbon, like
Yeah.
something where people are shooting at you, for drone pilots, because they realized the PTSD that drone pilots felt, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of time when you ask a guy what his job was, he's going to say something that doesn't sound like anything to you, right? He's like, oh, I was a technology flight specialist or something
Yeah.
like that. You know what I mean? And but the reason why they pushed for this medal to come out was because they realized the devastating effects it had on these kids who were flying drones. And so some of the pushback was like, well, they weren't really in the shit, so to speak. But that doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with it. They are, and that's not even to speak on the institutionalization of these guys. Another story, right, is there was an award ceremony for a very rare medal, the second highest medal you could get, and this guy lost everybody, and he loses everybody, and he gets a medal that nobody gets. Hundreds of people have ever gotten this medal.
Yeah.
And because it was out of a movie, bro. It was like Saving Private Ryan. And then he comes back, and obviously he's dealing with PTSD, and he actually caught a case on base, because off base, the legal limit for drinking and driving is whatever it is. And he shouldn't have been doing it, obviously, right? But he was below the legal limit off base, like in civilian world, but on base, there's a zero tolerance policy.
Oh.
So even though this guy's an absolute war, like he blew like a .01 or something like that, like way less than whatever the legal limit is. And but they had, because he was high profile now, they had to uh court martial him, right? So this guy now on his record has this punitive disciplinary action, but this guy's a war hero, like dealing with the side effects of losing everybody he loved in a like a Saving Private Ryan scenario. So it just, again, it really establishes the point that you could think this guy's a scumbag, you could think this guy was a cook, you could think this guy was just in the Navy looking at gauges, but that's not how it works.
Huh.
So, next time you see somebody out there walking the streets, maybe hit them with a little random act of kindness or whatever.
Yeah, man. So there's a guy in my neighborhood. He died a year or so ago. And so he was a Vietnam vet, and she's like, man, not too long after he died, I started watching a whole lot of stuff on Vietnam, and it's just like, man, I wish I could go down now and talk to him and knock on his door and you know ask him what happened, ask him all, see if you guys want to talk about it all. I can't do that now. There ain't a whole lot of them left. So
No, I was lucky enough to work in the insurance industry.
Yeah.
Right as the Vietnam vets were like becoming more rare because of old age and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I would sit and talk to these guys because we could kind of bond a little bit. I was obviously not in Vietnam, but we could bond a bit, and talking to them and you're sitting there talking to a guy for an hour or so, and everything about him. Every piece of medicine he takes, every medical diagnosis he has,
Yeah.
his financial situation. So this guy's social security number and the names of his kids. That's how much this guy. And I must have talked to hundreds of Vietnam vets, right? And that is so sad, bro. It's so sad. And a lot of them didn't even volunteer, right? They got drafted. So
Yeah.
I'm against war 100%. I'm very sympathetic towards veterans. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. And over time, you lose touch with guys and stuff, and then you find out this guy deletes himself.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I used to work with that guy. I used to talk to that guy every day. And then another one, and then another one, and then another one, and another one. And it's ridiculous. It's so sad, dude. But that's what happens to these guys. And I think it's a psyop, bro, personally. The way that they treat them, the way that we devalue them. Not to say that I'm not all for Vietnam, like protests, but they're spitting on these guys that didn't do nothing wrong. And it was the first time they could really film war and broadcast it on the national news.
Yeah.
Like a regular person could go to Vietnam during the Vietnam War, like a journalist could just go with a camera.
Yeah.
And just see it happen. And that had never happened before Vietnam, really.
Before that, it was just propaganda pieces that they pushed at the theater and stuff to try to boost support and morale. It was designed to get support, morale, more people joining up, more people buying war bonds, stuff like that. Women showing up and working at the factories. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah. It was like in World War II in Korea, it was government owned footage.
Yeah.
You know, whereas in Vietnam, that was the first time that wasn't the case ever in history.
Yeah.
Like even the Romans, you only found out about wars. Like the Romans are supposedly real guilty of padding their stats, so to speak. They're like, no, we dominated in this battle, blah blah blah, because they controlled what the Roman people found out about it. But Vietnam was the first time that where the truth kind of came out. Oh shit.
Huh.
So yeah, it's pretty hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
What's interesting, I love militaria, right? I love World War I, World War II. I really love tanks and planes and stuff like that. That's my favorite part about studying war and strategy. But something I never thought of, and I think you're about to love this one, bro. Maybe you'll hate it, but so I study World War II tanks, and they were talking about the socialism infecting France in the 30s and the effect that had on the military industrial complex. So in France, there was a socialist movement that came in I think the early mid 30s, and they were against war profiteering, which sounds really good on at face, but
Yeah.
what it ended up happening is it gave state control. I mean, think about this. If you don't want somebody to profit off of anything, let the state get a hold of it. Right? Like you for sure ain't making no money if the state's in charge.
Okay.
And so what it led to was, you know how like France got toppled by Germany in days, basically,
Yeah.
in World War II. It was because the statist ideal and the socialist movement in France made the war means production so terribly inefficient that the equipment that they had was garbage. It was like they couldn't fight a war because they couldn't produce anything. And so it led me to think, I was like, wait a minute. If socialists, or if a country was going to commit a war against another country, the best thing you could do is destroy their means of production. And in this case, they destroyed the means of production through socialism. And so then I thought more about it. I was like, wait a minute. Maybe that is the strategy. And you can look all through like CIA documents and all this stuff from 60, 70 years ago and see how the US government goes in, and then they fund these revolutionary socialist and communist movements against whatever country they want to overthrow. So I'm
Okay.
thinking, like, is it possible the biggest exporter of socialism is indeed the United States, because all of our enemies are socialists and
Right.
communists?
So,
And
so as far as I understand, socialism goes back to Catholicism, to Catholic rule. The way I understand it is, um, that's kind of how the system, how they want to take control again. Um, so something I was just kind of looking into. Apparently, Venezuela here a while back, like some years ago, was doing great. I guess it was like the richest country in Central and South America. Um, People had it great. I guess it was socialist. I guess they had all kinds of stuff for free, and then a new guy got in charge and it fell apart. But no, I bet if you looked into it, I bet socialism all goes back to Rome.
my buddy, he was my roommate for a long time. Uh, his family were Nicaraguan immigrants, and they came over during the Nicaraguan Civil War, and his stepfather and his biological father were fighting on opposite sides of it, which is really funny.
Yeah,
But he said that the ideals of the time, like the socialist movement or the communist movement, I think specifically at the time, was, it's like a slum now. Like it's a horrible. If you have any amount of money, because what they did, they came over here, they start car washes and stuff. They drop their kids off, they go back and live like kings, off of, some middle class American income.
but these guys come from there, and they absolutely hate it. And it's like the CIA is in on all of it every single time. So what better way to destabilize a country than to turn it socialist, or especially communist, right? But the CIA has spies over there funding and spreading that crap. Of course they do.
Gotcha. Huh. So I'll tell you. So hey, Buster, nice having you on, man.
Yeah, man. I'll get out of
I'm
here.
about to jump off here. I can't really talk no more. I'm getting tired, but my throat's getting itch going on. I can't really talk. So and I wasn't even really, I just really wanted to just hear what was going on with the thing, but we talked longer, and I'm glad we did. Um, Now I'll start trying to jump over in your server a little bit too when I get time.
Yeah, bro. They're talking about conspiracy theories right now. Thanks everybody for having me. Sorry I
No,
just rambled.
no, you're all right.
Good to see
I didn't get through much scripture. I didn't get too much scripture. And I was gonna say I was gonna do some scripture before I jumped off, but at this one time, my throat's literally, I can't really talk right now. So I'm just gonna have to.
All right. Good night, everybody.
I'm
Talk
gonna
to you later, Taman.
Brat. I know you didn't say nothing, but I'm glad you jumped in. So yeah. Uh, hey everybody. Look, everybody that's been in here, I appreciate y'all. God willing, we'll do it again tomorrow. If anybody's not in Discord though, I mean, unless you just absolutely don't want to do nothing, it'd be awesome if you guys just could jump in the Discord, right? Links in the description. Takes a little bit of time to figure out, but this voice chat that what I'm on right now, this voice chat's an awesome place because you can just post and comment on people's posts, and there's different thread areas, different topics. But like if you want fellowship, if we show up, and we've had it, there was a point in time, and a lot of it was because of Rat, and a lot of it was because of Buster. But there was a point in time on this Discord where it was going almost 24 hours a day of people in chat talking. And there's times that they're just reading chapters of the Bible. They're just going through the Bible reading. You know what I mean? And that'd be awesome again. And I'm really hoping to build it back up that way. You know what I mean? It'd be awesome to just regularly to always know that you have a place where you can go if people are there. You have someone to talk to, and if not, you can join and just wait. And if you join, someone will show up and talk to you. Right? That was awesome, and I'd love to do it again. So yeah. Anybody that's not and wants to, please join. And I apologize for not getting into much scripture today. We did Psalm 101, King James. Did Psalm 101, God's Word, a couple of translations. Did Psalm 91 twice. 1 Corinthians 2. I do some more scripture, but I can't even speak right now. So Wicked ruled, huh? From January 21st to 25th. All right, guys, I got to go though. I appreciate you, but God willing, we'll do it again tomorrow. Amen. And praise God. So.